You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Papa, Mama's making me do kitchen work again.
Son, your mother will pay for this. Get my bat.
Papa, don't hurt her.
You want to be a woman.
Nope.
So shut up, son.
Who's rapping? Overkeen. Dragons? I'm not overkeen. I'll dice them like a knife, slicing right through an aubergine. My dragon shout flow is sweeter than a soda stream. You won't believe your eyes. I'm like an overload of dopamine. A broadsword in one hand and a magic spell in the other. I'm the last of the
Welcome to the 7th edition of the Skyrim Addict Podcast Roundtable.
Hey, what do you say?
Hey, everyone. This is the Season 1 finale, and we are the show who compares and contrasts Skyrim experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. And we've got a few more people than usual. We're joined by a couple more people. And so I figure we'll just go around the room and introduce ourselves, and we'll start out with the newbie, Juan. Hello, Juan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How's everyone doing?
Very well, thanks. Would you go ahead and tell us your name and where you're calling in from and your character's name?
My name is Juan Diaz. I live in Southern California. My character is Scorpion Forktongue.
Wow.
He's level 57 Argonian. I kind of based him off of Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
Yes. Nice. That's awesome. Nice. Get over here.
Exactly. Any other stats you guys wanted to know, or?
Yeah, just tell us your three main attributes you were assigned at the top of the mission.
Okay. So he's an Argonian male. My three main skills were block for warrior, illusion for mage, thief for speech for thief, and I have actually achieved 100 on all three.
Wow!
Yeah.
Nice.
Is he the first to 100 on all three? Has anyone done 100 on all three yet?
Not I.
No. Nope. You won. Good job, Juan. You win.
Hey, I win. Do I get a cookie?
We'll come up with some prize for you.
You get a rookie pat on the back. You get a sweet roll.
All right.
Yeah.
Just don't steal it, please. So for illusion, I kind of took notes on the four master illusion spells, just because the fact that you need to get a spell from the trainer at the College of Winterhold, the Mage's College. You have to get he gives you a spell, and then you cast it all over the place and try to find these four books. And the four spells that you end up getting at the end of the thing is Call to Arms, Harmony, Hysteria, and Mayhem. And I never realized how awesome illusion magic was until I got this.
I'm hoping I pull illusion for my next character. I've never actually used it much, but from what Colin and now you say, it's probably one of the funnest schools of magic to use.
Oh yeah.
One is your guy. Can you class him as a good guy, or is he a little bit devious? Can he be a little bit nasty?
Considering my faction was the Dark Brotherhood, I think he's more on the evil side, and
that makes illusion 10 times funner.
Yeah, you don't even worry about who you throw it on, as I'll explain later. So my stats spread was 3 to Magicka, 2 to health, and 0 to stamina. And I'm currently at 440 for Magicka and 320 for health. My spouse is Dravinia, and I found her in Kynes Grove. She's a Dunmer mage, expert alteration trainer.
Match made in heaven.
Yes, and her to get her, you get her some frost salts to help her keep the miners cool. and then you gain her favor, and then you can marry her. My home is Heljarkin Hall in Windhelm. So to get that started, I had to first solve who the butcher is, and then also join the Stormcloaks. And once you complete Rescue Fort Newgrad, then you're able to purchase the home. So I actually tried to finish the entire Civil War quest before finishing this because I wanted to see how that would affect future events. And it turns out that if you complete the Civil War quest, then you don't have to go to the Greybeards to set up the big meeting and sit there and start dispersing all the land because Stormcloaks own everything already.
Nice. That's interesting because to get Heljarkin, I thought that you had to go up to Dawnstar.
Yeah, it is actually. It's the Pale.
Yeah, go up to the Pale and kill a giant.
And
and
her gym, didn't you?
Hiram is the house in Windhelm.
Oh, in Windhelm, that one. Okay, yeah.
That you need to do the butcher.
The butcher quest, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. That's a great introduction to your character, Juan. So we'll just go around the room again. Brian, would you like to tell us your name, your character's name, and your 3 main attributes, please?
Yeah. Brian, live outside of Chicago. My character's name is Egret. She's a female Breton. She's currently sitting at level 32, and the 3 attributes is warrior skill, archery at 54, mage skill, enchanting, I got that at 81, and thief skill is pickpocket, and I'm sitting at 53.
Great. Hey, Kathleen. Oh, we just lost Kathleen. Hey, Colin, can you give us a reminder of your guy?
Yeah, hi, my name's Gunvar Oakenmaster. My character's name is Colin. He's currently level 53. His main attributes were illusion magic, one-handed, and speech. 100 in illusion and one-handed, and 81 in speech.
Damn.
That's it.
Gunvar knows how to work that one hand, attaboy. Hey, Kathleen, would you like to give us a little breakdown of your character and where you're calling in from, please?
Sure. This is Kathleen. I am calling from Pennsylvania in the U.S. My character is a female wood elf named Shiva Bornier, and her warrior skill is smithing, her mage skill is illusion, and her thief skill is light armor.
Do you know what levels you're at on those 3?
Well, I went double legendary in smithing.
Impressive.
I went legendary in illusion. And I just went legendary in light armor.
God damn.
Wow.
Like today.
She is on her ship.
Wow. Amazing.
That's great. And
yeah,
Mr.
I'm at
Victor.
level 58 now.
That's great.
All set for
Victor,
me?
can you give us a reminder there?
Sure. I am Victor. I'm calling in from Western Massachusetts. My character is a Dunmer named Slythe Aaron. He is currently level 51. His skills are two-handed and enchanting and alchemy, and right now he's at about 95 in two-handed. He's gone over 100 in alchemy, but his enchanting is still only about 75. And my stat roll was 301, so I have a hell of a lot of stamina. Not much health except for all that I've buffed up with various enchantments and a little bit of magicka.
Very nice. Did I leave anyone out?
Yourself.
Myself. Oh, okay. My character is Mania Ababna. She is a Redguard from Hammerfell, having a good old time vacationing in Skyrim. She was assigned speech, which she is a silver-tongued minx at this point with a skill level of 100.
Ooh.
Nice.
And I will not be going legendary in that because that is a horrible, horrible skill to have to try to bump up to 100.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. She is a level 95 and two-handed, which I jumped 15 levels since our last test. I basically just went through all the all my miscellaneous quests. I just mowed through all of those this past few days, and was concentrating on my two-handed. She is currently carrying an ebony warhammer with the chaos enchantment and the fiery soul trap. And I have my orc follower, Ogle, who I just load up with the soul gems and kind of let him... I gave him also a fiery soul trap enchanted ebony battle axe, I believe. So he's collecting souls for me, and I collect some too, but I hardly ever have any soul gems enough for myself. But I also have a restoration of 55, and I tried to grind that a little bit today, but I just don't know about this restoration. I actually took Colin's suggestion. Last episode, he was discussing, what is it called, Colin? Sunfire? Some restoration spell where it's actually, should be in the destruction school, but it's against Draugr and the undead.
Fire. Vampire's Bane, and you got a sun aura or something like that.
Yeah, I was throwing sun balls at the Draugr, and that seemed to boost it up a little bit, but it's still so slow going for the restoration. It's a pain in my butt. But so she lives over at Lakeview Manor, and she has a husband, Scouts Many Marshes, an Aragonian from the docks up in Windhelm, who I went and helped out. So he moved in, and we're thinking about adopting some children here pretty soon. So that is basically the breakdown. Yeah, for real life. That's basically a little breakdown for Mania Ababna. And does anyone have any exciting events or cool side missions or bugs or glitches or interesting treasures or finds they'd like to go over before we hop into the main quests?
Well, I did the Dawn Breaker.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Where she always drops me.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you get that figured out?
Brian,
you were having trouble with that last time, right?
Well, Brian, this is what happens. I finish the quest, and when she takes you up again to give you the sword, she immediately drops me, and I go splat. It's a glitch in my game. I don't know why.
Oh man, it sucks.
But it worked this time.
That's amazing.
So I got my sword. Yeah, it is crazy. I'm like, oh, I gotta save it again.
That's great. Do you have any idea what changed this time that caused it to work this time?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Welcoming to the podcast for, I believe this is his second episode, we have the leader of Metal Shark Studio himself, Mr. Blake Greer. Hello, Blake.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, that's
Howdy.
Hi, Blake.
I had to at least pop in and make an appearance for the season finale.
Yeah, totally.
That's great.
All right.
We welcome you open-handedly. Do you have a special announcement or anything you'd like to say about Season 2 coming up?
Yeah, well, first I wanted to say thank you so much to Victor for editing the last show for me. That was a huge, huge help, man. I really appreciate that.
I enjoyed it.
And then I want to say to Colin and to Victor, thank you guys both so much for in Season 1 having perfect attendance for every episode of the Roundtable.
Yes, that is greatly appreciated.
We get sweet rolls too, huh?
Better than an arrow to the knee.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, one more thing before I take off. I just want to say on Season 2, when we're going to Solstheim, right?
Solstheim to do Dragonborn.
All right.
Ash and more ash.
I've been to Solstheim. I haven't started any of the main quests there, so if it's cool with everybody, the Khajiit character, my main that I've been playing with, I'd like to take him and rejoin the Roundtable for Season 2, since I've never played any of the DLC.
You're playing blind, eh?
Oh, yeah.
We would love to have you aboard. That sounds wonderful to me. Anyone have any oppositions?
None at all.
If you do, you're cut out.
Nope.
More the merrier.
Yeah. You've got to go to your roaring room when you're licking your balls.
No one wants to see your cat ass hanging out everywhere.
That's right. Well, all right, guys. I just wanted to pop in and say hello and say thank you for everybody doing Season 1, and I'm looking forward to rejoining everybody for Season 2. But I'll let you guys get back to it, and I'll talk to you all later.
All right. Great to talk to you, Blake. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you on Solstheim.
Bye, Blake.
And that was Blake, everyone. Go ahead, Juan.
Yeah, the Dawnbreaker, that was the Meridia's quest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just wanted to add that there is a lot of gold in that quest. Because some of the bodies are holding up to like 75 septums. I think I saw one that had like 100. I looted every body in there.
Yeah, for some reason those desecrated corpses are all
I do it
full
too.
of gold.
I think it's because she pulls you out right at the end. Because if you forget to loot the corpses and grab the sword, she pulls you out before you can loot all the corpses that are surrounding the body.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I make sure to get everything before I get extracted.
But there's no master chest in there. I think that's why you get all that gold in all the bodies.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, I did one quest that I've never done before. I did the Heart of Dibella quest. Just almost by accident, I was wandering around and wandered into the temple, and it started it. So it's a minor little quest.
Can you give us a little breakdown?
You sneak past the. You're told not to go into the inner sanctum, so of course you do, and you sneak in there, and of course the Mother Superior catches you and lets you know that she won't kill you immediately as long as you go and find the Sibyl for them, because the old Sibyl is just passed on and they need a new Sibyl, so you have to go. I don't know if it's Radiant. If the location changes, because I've never done it before, but this one I think she was in Kynes Grove. And you do a few things, and you go get the Sibyl and bring the Sibyl back, who is a young girl. And once done, you get the Agent of Dibella, which allows you to deal more damage to the opposite sex, depending on what sex you are. So it's not a huge quest, but it was a new quest that I'd never done, so it was fun.
And that one starts off from the tower in Markarth, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, it does.
That perk where you damage more to the opposite sex, that's kind of the opposite of the merchant perk where you can get better prices from the opposite sex.
Right, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah,
that's kind of funny. Yeah. Hey, Brian, did you get into anything exciting? Do you do any side quests or any fun little side missions or anything?
No, I just had to get caught up with not being in the last round table. So I had the couple up, Alduin's Bane, The Fallen, what was it, season ending, and right up to Parthenax. I had to knock those out because I ended up missing out.
Do you have anything interesting happening there? Can you get into those a little bit if you want? Yeah,
I'll burn through those real quick. The last time I was on, I stopped at that I found out my human follower was Onmund up at the College of Winterhold. And I needed to head up there, but I needed to do some pickpocketing as well, so I was working on that. Then I ended up heading up to the College of Winterhold to go ahead and get Onmund, the elf at the front gate, Feralda. She told me I had to cast a fear spell to enter the college. Well, my 3 things I have to work on, my stat spread was Magicka is at 0, so I only had 100 Magicka. Well, it turns out that I needed 150 Magicka to cast that fear spell of all spells.
Oh shit!
So I was like, fuck that! I ain't doing that. I'm going to go work on working on the quest line again. So I went back to the quest. So I went on number 13, which is Alduin's Bane, which is pretty tough because I wasn't all that leveled up. So I didn't have I didn't have real good armor. I didn't have real good weapons. So it was kind of a pain in the ass of a mission. But I headed back up to the Throne of the World to read the Elder Scroll at the Time Wound, and then I had like this weird hallucination, like Ygritte had been hitting a skooma crack pipe a little too hard, so I started seeing a whole bunch of shit. I learned a Dragon Rend shout from the Nord heroes. Then I had to go ahead and fight Alduin with the newly attained shout, which is a really cool shout. You go ahead and hit it with the Dragon Rend, and they'll fly around for about a half second, and they'll just drop to the ground, and they sit there for a good 20 or 30 seconds. So while I was fighting him, he's dropping all this fiery shit on me, and I'm jumping all over the map trying to get away from him. I went ahead and used my bow called Kiss by Fire. My damage level at that time was only level 28 on the bow, and took just over an hour and about 300 arrows to take him down.
Wow.
Good Lord.
So, I was telling you, it was a tough ass battle. It took me a long time.
my
When you're that low level and fighting that, it takes a long time. But I finally, took him down. But then he ended up talking some shit and flew away. So I was like, come on, man, really? So
isn't that so disappointing? You think you whooped his ass and then he just ups and leaves at the
especially
end of it.
after a fucking hour and 300 arrows. Yeah.
Yeah, get back here, you fuck.
Yeah. So the next mission was the Fallen. Parthenax told me I had to go talk to the Jarl Whiterun because Dragon Search at one point in time was used to trap dragons out on their front porch. I went there, talked to him, and he was worried about the pending war and said to go speak to the Greybeards to see if they negotiated a truce. I ended up going up and talking to the Greybeards. I had to learn a shout called Odva. I can't pronounce this word.
Odahviing.
Odahviing. Thank you very much. And had to set up the trap at Dragon Search. I trapped him pretty easily, and then I just hit him a couple times at the Dragon Run, dropped him down, had him follow me in, and then dropped the trap on him and got him caught. And then the next mission after that was Season Unending. And let's see, I had to head back up to High Hrothgar and speak with Arngir. Did you say his name? Arngir? Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
We've pronounced it 15 different ways on the show.
Okay. The way I'm reading it is Arngir. So I spoke with Arngir. He agreed to host a negotiation. So I had to go talk to both General Tullius and Ulfric Stormcloak to get them to come to the negotiations. I spoke to Ulfric first, and he told me that I had to go talk to General Tullius, and if they were willing to both show up at the same time, one would show up, and if the other one said, "Yeah, I'm not showing up," it was just a bunch of bullshit between the two of them because neither one of them really wanted to back down. But they finally agreed, so I go back up to High Hrothgar, and I walk in on Arngir and Delphine, and they're sitting there arguing. I'll tell you what, dude, as soon as I walked in, and I'm like, man, I've already dealt with bullshit with Ulfric and this other dude, and you guys are up in there arguing. I just wanted to foos roll down both their asses right across the room because they were just getting on my nerves. But I went ahead and went into the chamber room where they had everybody sitting at the table and stuff. And then Ulfric, right off the bat, as soon as the meeting started, Ulfric started acting like a jagoff. And he said, he wants to go ahead and get Riften. Or, I'm sorry, he wanted a Markarth. And the Empire gets Riften. So that's the negotiation I made out. I went ahead and gave him Markarth. I gave the Empire to Riften. And then Ulfric turns around and says he wants Heilmark. And I said, no. And he started whining again, but the truce is settled. And on the way out, Delphine drops a big old bomb on me. She says she wants me to go whack out Parthenax. I really didn't want to, but at that time I still needed some dough. So I went up and spoke to Parthenax, talked to him for a minute or two, and I just started attacking him. I dumped about 10 arrows into him before he actually tried starting to fight back. But he dropped real quick. It killed him pretty quick. I went ahead and took his bones, which is what I was really after because those were worth a lot of money. And then I took your advice, Andrew, and I parkoured up to the top of the hill, and I went ahead and got that notched pickaxe.
I didn't know you could parkour in Skyrim. Good Lord.
Oh, that was the only way I could find my way up there, man. I had to jump from rock to rock, but I got up there. I got the notched pickaxe. And I mined all the shit that was up there. They had a whole bunch of ebony ore, moonstone. I think moonstone was up there. All the expensive shit was up there. So I went and mined everything. And I went back to Delphine, and I told her that I whacked out Parthenax, and she said, "Good job." That was it.
Awesome. Hey, are Parthenax's bones worth more than a normal set of dragon bones?
I think they're still the same. It was $200 for the bones, and I want to say $150 for the scales.
Nice.
Sounds about normal.
Yeah. I just didn't know if they would be special in some way or not. That sounds good. Thanks for the update, Brian. Yeah, sounds like you're all caught up with us there.
See.
Hey, Kathleen, did you have any special fun events, any side quests or anything that you got into?
After the main quest, like I said, I was a glutton for punishment, and I went back down to Blackreach. I like it down there. I wanted to collect my stupid 30 crimson roots or whatever you need.
Yeah.
And then I mined like crazy because there's so much crap in there to mine. Like I found ebony and gold and geodes and soul gems, and there's just tons of stuff for me to mine down there. But not a lot of creatures anymore. I whacked out a lot of them.
Pest Control by Kathleen.
Yeah.
But what was weird is when you get to Sovngarde.
When you get to Sovngarde, you freeze out.
That's right.
All right, we'll see if she hops back in here. Hey, Juan, did you have any exciting little side missions before we get into our assigned quests?
No, I don't really. I kind of tried to follow, and once I finished with the season 1, the last one, then I just went and jumped into Oblivion, thanks to our fearless leader. And I forgot how much fun that game was.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you been playing the Elder Scrolls series a long time?
Actually, I started with Morrowind, and probably got a couple hours in on that one, and then
sorry guys,
I got the Xbox 360, and then I started playing Oblivion, and I just played that until Skyrim came out. And then I hadn't gone back to Oblivion, and then Michael David started talking about Oblivion and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give that a shot. And I'm sitting there, and I started playing. I'm like, wow, I forgot like how immersive this world is over here, where all these guys are just okay. Hey, go over here, and then go over there, and and now that you're done with that, here, let me send you on this last quest before you can actually finish what you're supposed to do. And and I really enjoy just running through the whole entire country because, well, it helps my athletics.
Yeah, I have purchased Oblivion, but I haven't played it very much. Maybe just a couple hours. It's weird to start on Skyrim and go back to earlier games. They just seem sort of clunky to me. But I kind of wish that I would have started in the Elder Scrolls world back in the Morrowind or Daggerfall days to see the progression of the games. It's kind of hard to go backwards, but what I did play of Oblivion, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I know Morrowind is really tough to go back to just because even when you're running, it just goes gunk, 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 gunk.
Yeah.
Although one thing I liked about Morrowind is you can hide the bodies. Oh. When you kill somebody, it gives you the option to hide the body, so there's no body left after you kill them.
Oh, that's nice. So someone doesn't get tipped off that someone else has been killed in the other room or whatever. Nice.
Right. And there's no fast travel in Morrowind, isn't there?
That I don't. Wow. I like I said, I never got into that. But there is those big squid-looking things. They do have those.
Netches, yeah.
Like a netch? Yeah. Oh, it is the netch. Nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I like how self-referential this whole series of games is. It just keeps churning stuff up from its past all the time.
Well, a lot of stuff in Skyrim, weapons and things are from Oblivion or before Chillrend and other things like that. They're all go way back into the previous games.
Yeah, that's one of the major drawbacks of Skyrim being my first Elder Scrolls game is I don't get any of the references. I'm staring at this really cool weapon and I don't know that, this has been in the last 4 games. I just don't realize it. Yeah.
Right.
Kathleen, you were interrupted there by a technical glitch. You were talking about, when I went to Sovngarde.
When I went to Sovngarde, that dude that you have to fight before you go over the whale bones to get into the hall. I forgot what a total jerk he is, like Soon or something.
Yeah, it's
total jerk. He actually killed me the first time. I was like, what the hell? I was not expecting that at all. Because usually I'm like a one and done, like one shot, they're done. But he was like a jerk. But he didn't make it the second time.
He killed me.
He went
4
down
times.
pretty fast and let me go through. But I was like, he was tougher than Alduin for me. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about how quickly Alduin went down, actually.
Well, it's 4-on-1.
3 arrows.
Yeah, that's true.
That was it.
I need to go back and turn up my difficulty and then try Alduin again. So that's cool. Kathleen, any other exciting side adventures or anything before we get into our quests?
No, that's probably about it because I haven't gotten to play. Sorry,
okay,
Colin.
That's cool. No, you're busy. Who was speaking there? Was that Juan?
Yeah, that was me. I did want to add on the last podcast.
Oh, sorry, Juan.
Oh no, it's fine. On the last podcast, that somebody had mentioned that they killed Shadowmere, and I
was me.
Yeah, and actually, come to find out that Shadowmere returns in 10 days in that same pond where you first find her.
Wow.
So if you accidentally kill her, in 10 days,
that's awesome.
You go back there, and there she is.
I did not know that. I had to reload.
What if I can't remember where she is, though?
It's right in front of
Dark Brotherhood.
The Dark
Brotherhood Cathedral or whatever it's called.
Oh, you just go back
to
the Dark Brotherhood.
Yep.
Yeah, the Black Pool. Yeah, I had to reload not too long ago because I fell off the side of a mountain. I was trying to go down the mountain too quickly, and Shadowmere took the load of the fall, and I actually lived through the fall, but Shadowmere died. I was hoping that I would die too, because if you died then as well, then it would just reload and you'd have the horse and everyone together again. But too bad I survived, so I had to reload. Now that I know that Shadowmere will live, you can get her back in 10 days. That's awesome to know.
Yeah,
now I'll just be jumping off all sorts of fucking mountainsides.
So much.
That's the quick escape right there.
Yeah, just jump, Geronimo.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can fall off the highest cliff, and if you're on a horse, just the horse dies.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. Anybody else have any side stuff? Victor or Colin? I think we asked Victor. Colin, did you have any exciting side adventures, sir?
Yeah, after I finished the main quests, I've done quite a lot of things.
Nice.
Did anybody else try and go to be the Thane of Markarth?
I don't know if I've ever done that, no.
I have, but not this time.
I went up to the Pale and did that.
I went and talked to the guy at Markarth, and obviously you gave it to the Stormcloaks. As to have what's his name, Sornia or Silverblood. And he just goes, it's come up with the line, is there anything else I can do for you, my Jarl? And he goes, no, if you buy property, you can become Thane. And I
just like that.
Yeah. I went, all right. So I turned around to the guy right next to him, bought the property, turned around, and he goes, thanks, well done, there's your house, I award you a coal, thank you very much, you're now Thane of Markarth.
Oh, you didn't even have to do the help 3 people from Markarth or whatever?
It did. It came up saying, help 5 people, but it said I already helped 5 people. But
oh, nice. You just happened to have already done those.
Yeah, I don't think I did, though. So I tested it out. Because I gave Winterhold to the Legion. So I just sauntered into the Longhouse at Winterhold, and I went, hey, y'all, what's up? And he goes, hey, is there anything I can help you with? And he goes, no, thanks for helping our people. If you help 3 of our people, we'll make you Thane. And I went, all right. And then it came up, I helped 3 people. There you go. You are now Thane of Winterhold. Congratulations. Cheers, buddy. And then I walked back out again.
Well, the Jarl does count for 3.
Yeah. 3 times the value of a normal citizen.
I do have to say that the house you get in Markarth is probably one of the most awesome houses in the whole game. It's Glendrel Hall. It's really cool.
Oh, I have to agree. It's a really nice house.
The enchanting table and the alchemy station are very impressive. I really like those.
Wow, I need to go check that out. I've never actually owned the house. Would you say, is it the Valendrel Hall over there in Markarth?
Yeah,
that's one I've never actually owned. I should go check that out. I always avoid the west side of the map. I just hate the Fort Sworn so much. So.
And you get a really good, really powerful housecarl too. I forget her name, but she's.
Me too.
Yeah.
No, him. It's something the Bulwark, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was a woman. No, maybe I'm thinking. Oh, that's she's the housecarl at Proudspire Manor. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That place sucks.
Yeah, I agree totally. It's utterly worthless.
Super expensive for such a shitty home.
Yeah.
Dude, that place sucks, man. I fucking busted my ass to get money to buy that house, and that place sucks. I'd rather live in a gutter.
Did you buy it?
A cardboard box over my fucking head. That place sucks.
You did get it though, right, Brian?
Unfortunately, yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at how little storage there is in the three-story mansion.
Yeah, no storage.
There's no place to put anything. I just end up dumping everything in that sort of utility extra room in the basement.
Hell, even in Whiterun, you get the little breeze home. When you get the enchanting table, they got the tiny little, or no, I'm sorry, not the enchanting table, the alchemy table. You get the nice little pouch there where you can store all your stuff. Nah, you don't get. You just get a couple of barrels in the basement, so you got to walk around a whole basement looking at these fucking barrels that put stuff away. Nah, that house sucks. That thing's terrible.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. It's impressive in size, but it's just its whole storage situation sucks, especially if you store some stuff upstairs, some stuff downstairs, which you have to because there's not enough containers to store everything that you have.
Well, you and I are the same. We like to put everything in separate containers. Weapons here, armor here, this and that. Oh, no. Garbage.
Yeah, I just find it easier to keep everything categorized like that. Does anyone else just dump everything into one container, or does everyone else also do the categorized containers?
Oh my god, no, I'm too OCD for that. I have to have categorized containers.
Yeah. I assume that most people would do it that way, yeah. It just makes more sense to me that way.
Yeah.
It would take too long to go through a container to find something if you didn't have it organized.
Yeah. At least armor, weapons, and alchemy ingredients. That's the bare minimum right there.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have to have a chest for the stuff I'm wearing now, and a closet for the stuff I might wear later. And no, it's terrible.
I've only got 3. I've got alchemy components, smithing components, and then all the shit I'm going to sell. The only stuff I keep is the stuff that I'm going to use. Everything else, I just sell it.
That's a good call too. Yeah, just have a sell bucket and just have everything dumped into there.
Well, Brian, Proudspire Manor is a metaphor for the hollowness of wealth and power. So we, come join the proletariat.
So Shakespearean. All right, well, if anyone is all caught up on some of their fun side adventures, I guess we can go ahead and jump into our assigned quest for this week. And the assigned quests for this week were number 15, The World Eater's Eyrie. Number 16, Sovngarde, and 17, I didn't write the title, what is that? Dragon Slayer. We will go ahead and hop into World Eater's Eyrie. Kathleen, can you give us a basic setup of what happened at the World Eater's Eyrie?
Oh, no.
No, she can't. Lost her again. All right, well, we'll go to Juan. Juan, do you have a basic summation of the World Eater's Eyrie?
Alduin's right-hand dragon, Odahviing, has revealed that Alduin has escaped to Sovngarde, the Nord underworld, where he feeds on the souls of the dead. His portal to Sovngarde is located in the ancient dragon temple of Skuldafn, high in the Jarl Mountains. The only way to reach it is to set Odahviing free so he can fly the Dragonborn there.
Very nice. And how did you find this quest, Juan? Did you have any fun adventures?
That one was actually kind of fun for me because I was a master of illusion at the time, and so at first I sat there and took care of the first 2 dragons. That took a little bit, and then I just kind of snuck my way through and just kept casting mayhem, and just let all the Draugr just kill each other, and just kind of picked off the guys that were left over afterwards, because I don't know how far that spell reaches, but I just kind of found dead bodies all over the place.
That's a much easier way to go through it than how I did. So when I showed up, the dragons pop out and they like to say hello to you, of course. So I would hit them with Dragon Rend, but instead of landing somewhere convenient for me, they would go up to the top of the towers and they would land up there. Mm-hmm. And I would have to go through all the Draugr Death Lords in order to get to the dragons. But, that wouldn't happen. And by the time I get to the dragon, they would take off again and everything. So that was a really annoying battle for me. I wish I would have had all of the, what'd you say? It's illusion?
Yeah, it's hysteria.
Yeah, hysteria. Or mayhem. I'd like to use some of those magic spells in the future. I'm going to have to do an all illusion playthrough here pretty soon. Hey, Colin, what happened when you got to Skuldafn?
Let's see. That's it. Say it with confidence, Andrew. That's it.
Skuldafn. Skuldafn. Where do you put the emphasis?
On the right level.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Let's see. When I got the illusion as well, but I kind of stormed the place. instead of sneaking it in because he needed to make like a special show of it. So he stormed in, activated mayhem. So the best one was all the Draugr would attack the dragons. The dragons were just fighting them off, and then I'd be able to run in and give the kill shot, and then mop up with the snowman and take out all the Draugrs. Then by the time you get upstairs, Nakarin, whatever his name is, he was down to half health because he had to take out a couple of the. I think there's a Draugr Dreadlord up there with him or something. So.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Since there were so many undead around, I popped out that one sun ball. I forget what it's called. That one.
Take 1,000 years to kill a Draugr Deathlord with that.
Yeah, I was perched up somewhere where they couldn't reach me, and I was just sitting there picking them off or trying to. I just started throwing it and throwing it and throwing it and throwing it. But I was trying to get my restoration up. I thought, oh, this might be a nice time where I can throw that sun ball at guys for a little while. And it actually worked on the Nakarin, whatever his name is, that guy. It actually worked on him too. I guess Dragon Priest are undead as well.
I love the fact that those two dragons are just sitting there watching you.
Yeah. Hey, will your would you say mayhem that you were using, will that work on dragons, or they're resistant to that sort of thing? It's just that the Draugr were attacking the dragons, so the dragons were attacking the Draugr back.
Yeah, no, the dragons are resistant to it.
Yeah.
It's just
they're resistant to a lot.
Yeah. They resist the soul, charging your soul gems, and it's like that'd be a nice big soul gem there.
Well, you get their soul anyway.
Oh, super grande soul gem. Hey Brian, what happened to you when you showed up to the Sovngarde area there?
World Eater's Eyrie. Yeah, I released Odahviing, and I rode his ass to Skullfucking. Once I got dropped off, right away I had 2 dragons and a Draugr start fighting me, so I had to do a lot of ducking and dodging, and I took all their asses out. And I just kind of snuck my way all the way up. That's why my sneak skill is so high. I must have gained probably 5 or 6 levels in sneak just going through this small area here because I was sneaking up on all their asses. 3 different dragons total I had to fight all the way up to the porthole of Sovngarde, and then the Dragon Priest was really easy to kill because I snuck up on him. He didn't spot me, and I cracked his ass with 2 arrows. That was it.
Wow, 2 shot.
Yeah, I was shocked too. I hit him with two arrows, and it was done. I was like, okay. So I went and took all his shit and hopped in a portal.
What kind of staff did he have with him? Was he the chain lightning staff?
Oh man, I can't remember. I sold that shit. I know that.
My game wouldn't let me grab it.
Really?
Yeah. I had to leave it stuck in the home.
I did get a staff out. I got this mask. The hell's the guy's name?
It's Nakreen or something like that.
Yeah, I got his mask, and then I got the staff and
it's
some
Wall
gold
of
out of him. That's
Storms.
about it.
According to USP, it says his staff is Wall of Storms.
Wall of Storms.
Yeah.
I don't love those wall of insert adjective here. I don't love those staffs very much.
Yeah.
What's that one where you spray on the ground and tentacles come up? Or is that from? That must be
It's
from
Hermaeus
Mehron
Mora.
or something. Or Hermaeus Mora. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't find a defensive wall all that useful or exciting. I'd rather go attack usually.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm usually a 2-handed player. Maybe if I go with illusion, that would be something useful to have to make them fight each other, but have a wall of some defense around you as well.
No, once they go through the wall, that's pretty much it. I tried that when I was working on a character with all destruction magic, and that was to me it was such a useless spell.
Yeah,
because it takes so much magicka to use it, and it just.
What about the cloak spells? Do you guys like those? Do you kind of get an aura of lightning or fire or whatever? Do you guys ever use those very much?
Yeah, I use them when I'm fighting Draugr hand to hand. Oh, not hand to hand, but with melee weapons, so I'll always bring up a cloak of fire.
I know they're used on me a lot.
No, I used oak flesh a lot on my Dead is Dead character before he became dead.
How high did you get with that character? How many levels did you?
I would have gone farther, but the game bugged out on me a little bit due to various mod conflicts and things. I ended up with I was doing the Civil War, and I went to Windhelm with Balgruf's axe, and I was immediately set upon by everybody, including Ulfric, who was attacking me.
Wow.
And it's some bug. It might have had to do with Helgen Reborn. Anyway, he was level 20.
I'm impressed you made it that far. I wouldn't
20
have.
levels. Yeah, well, you got to sort of adjust your gameplay. You can't just sort of dive into everything.
Yeah, you can't barge in.
Yeah.
So,
what difficulty level?
Did you play that? Yeah, exactly.
Good
I
question.
was playing on Master.
Wow.
But
Even
I think
more impressive.
I think for a good long Dead is Dead, I think I'd just go back down to Expert or Adept. It's just, especially with the mods. When I started the character, the first thing I did was just make a lot of money chopping wood and making potions and stuff, and I hired 2 mercenaries, and they did all the heavy lifting for me. I had Stenvar and who's the other guy from Solitude? The bald guy. He's good. He's just like a battle mage type character. Starts with a B, I think.
Bald-headed dude.
Yeah, he's got long hair and
baldy
and bald on top. Yeah. Anyway,
oh, nice.
He's a good mercenary. Between the two of them, they took care of a lot of stuff for me.
Well, name you Flack and name you Jacket. Flak Jacket.
Yep.
Colin and Victor, did you have any cool stuff happen in the World Eater's Ire before we hop into Skuldafn?
No, I had similar experience with Nakreen, the wimpy dragon priest, after killing waves and waves and waves of Death Lords and the 2 dragons. By the time I got to the dragon priest, it was like whack whack and he was dead. So yeah, I think that seems to be the standard for that particular battle.
Yeah, I kept getting weighed down because of all the great ebony gear that the Death Lords were dropping. I had to pick and choose between which of the ebony gear I was going to haul back with me.
Yeah.
All sorts of good stuff there. This is our only one shot at Sovngarde, getting to Skuldafn, right? You fly there, Odahviing drops you off, and you can never go back if you choose to leave again. Is that correct?
I believe so.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried to go back ever, but it's located in the Jorel Mountains up sort of northeast of Riften, and those high mountains up.
Oh, is that right? I never thought to look at the map while I was there.
Yeah, I just happened to look over there. It's kind of on the east side of the map, those really tall mountains to the northeast of Riften. It looks like you should be able to get there from Fort Dawnguard, though, if you ask me personally. You take that mountain pass back to Fort Dawnguard, you should be able to crack a hole and sneak over to Skuldafn if you really wanted to.
Or the dragon should be able to just carry you again.
Yeah. Why can't you do the call dragon shout and have them take you wherever you want, sort of like fast travel, except for you can get back to those places that wouldn't let you go before? It'd be like even better than a horse.
I think Sun wouldn't let you back in.
As far as I can tell, you aren't allowed back. You get your one shot in Skuldafn. That's all you get, I believe.
So does anybody know what all the dragons are shouting at you in between? As soon as you trigger that quest and Odahviing is trapped, every dragon that, at least in my game, every dragon that attacks you until you hop on Odahviing and ride to Skuldafn is shouting something about Skuldafn.
Oh,
Anybody
really?
notice that?
I did
Colin,
not take notice of that.
No, I always, it's when they're attacking you on your way to,
Not necessarily on your way, but say you decide to take a pause and you go off and do a few other things while Odahviing is trapped in Dragon's Reach. You don't really want to go to Skuldafn quite yet, which I did, and I forget what I did. I did several quests, but was attacked by several dragons in between there, and it seemed like every one of them was shouting something about Skuldafn. I was just curious if anybody knew what that was.
I've never actually left them just trapped there before.
No, I was being mean.
No, as soon as I trapped him, I ended up going into the very next mission. Unless you might have been hitting the skooma and you don't know what you're talking about.
No, they were probably all yelling at me for leaving him trapped on Dragon's Reach. That's.
Yeah, I always keep my subtitles on, and a lot of times I can read what some of them are actually shouting at me.
Oh, really? I have them on, but I guess I didn't notice whether they were saying anything or not.
No, it's in the dragon language, even the subtitles.
Right. Yeah.
So when when the dragons are breathing fire or ice or lightning or whatever on you, Juan, is that actually translated? Are they shouting there?
Only on certain dragons, it actually gives their shout that they're using.
Wow.
I think it's some of the named dragons. Those you remember in the first dragon, in the very beginning, when you go help the Jarl defeat that one dragon, the dragon actually sits there and shouts and actually speaks to you.
At the Western Watchtower, that early on?
Yeah. And it usually goes so quick I don't have time because you're too busy trying to kill them to...
Yeah, you're concentrating on other things. You're not going to sit down with your little your dragon pocket translator and say, "No, okay, now what did he say?"
Yeah, I didn't have my earpiece on, so...
All right, so our adventure continues from the World Eater's Eyrie. We have gone into Skodafen, and atop Skodafen, we have found the portal to Sovngarde after killing the dragon priest Nakreen. I like the animation sequence of the portal opening up. You drop the dragon priest staff into the hole to activate the portal, and it kind of crumbles underneath you and has this nice sort of light sort of start blasting through, and it sucks you, I guess, down. Maybe not up. It's the underworld, so I guess it would be down. That we associate more with hell, but it looks like heaven to the Nords. But so we get sucked into Sovngarde. Brian, did you have any interesting adventures in Sovngarde? Could you give us a little basic outline of what happens on this segment of the trip?
Yeah, the Sovngarde outline was once you entered Sovngarde, you have to continue this path through this mist, and through the mist you run into somebody and he tells you how to defeat Alduin. Then you need to gain admittance to the Hall of Valor. Yeah, good luck with that shit. And then you talk to the heroes of Sovngarde. That's the last thing that happens in that mission. I did just that. I followed the path down through the mist. I ran into a soldier. He told me I must reach Shor's Hall and to beware that the World Eater awaits in the mist to feed upon souls. So it turns out that the Clear Skies shout comes in really handy at this point. So I found my way to the Hall of Valor, spoke to some dude named Sun, Tsun, I'm just going to say Sun, to gain entrance. He said he needed to test my warrior strength and challenged me to a fight. With 3 quick cracks from his battle axe, he whooped my ass and killed me with a triple headbutt kill cam.
Oh
wow.
Wow. That is one of my favorite kill cams when I'm using like a Warhammer. So they have it reversed and see from a third person view him doing that shit to me. I wasn't too fucking happy about it, but it happened. So I, reloaded, went back up to him, and then ended up running around a lot, trying to hit him with a couple of shouts. Again, it must have took 100 arrows to finally get this guy to finally stop and say, "Okay, you're cool. You're a tough guy. You're a tough guy, tough girl, whatever. Go ahead and you can go ahead and talk to whoever you got to talk to." So I went ahead and spoke with the 3 heroes of Sovngarde, and they basically said, "Hey, let's go kick a dragon's ass." Very
nice. Colin, did you have fun getting into Sovngarde, getting into the hall there?
I loved walking into Sovngarde. I always do. I love properly RPing it, like role playing it, and I sort of went to the third person mode, and he was walking all the way down, no running, and he was blasting the mist over his way. And then I forgot to save, and so I shot the head off. Like, God damn it! And I went so slow that I actually brought that Stormcloak soldier with me all the way to the front, right where.
Oh, nice.
Usually you lose them in the mist, but I managed to go slow enough. But the second time round, I was screw this, and I actually tried it a few times because I was trying to build up other things. So first I tried destruction magic, and I couldn't take him out with that. And then I tried two-handed, and I couldn't take him out with that. So then I had to fall back on the old reliable, and I was using Clear Skies and dual wielding with the razor. Dragonbane. Managed to get him down with that.
With the Maroon's razor?
Yeah.
And can you remind us what the perk of that is? I actually just went and found that earlier today.
It has a very small chance to instantly kill.
And is that how you dispatched with Soon?
No. You just take his health down, and then once he gets down low enough, he accepts you and says, "Yeah, you're tough enough." And as you walk past, you give him a dirty look.
I thought you maybe scored on the 1% chance with the Maroon's razor.
Yeah.
Good luck
Kill
with
the
that.
Guardian of Sovngarde. Everybody can come on in.
Yeah, come on at the party.
I did pick up some
0.1% chance.
Yeah.
I did score some. Was it Oxleg off the table inside?
Really?
Hall. But
That's awesome.
It doesn't show up as food. I thought I'd be able to.
No.
Yeah,
it'd be like 25 points of health instead of the normal 5 or whatever.
But I did. There was somebody in there that I noticed, and I was like, "What the smeg are you doing in here?" And it was old Olaf One Eye.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Olaf One Eye was in there.
Yeah.
Olaf, hey buddy.
Isn't he back in the respite, waiting on Salak Nia to kick his ass?
I guess he must have died in the meantime.
Well, his bones are back there, right? But not
because he's
not
the
his-
hero of Whiterun, the guy who captured Numenex, but he's also the one who's like entombed at
it's the-
respite with.
It's the Bard's Quest.
Yeah.
Bard.
Yeah, I know sometimes you find some of your dead homies over there in Sovngarde. I've seen a few people that die during the gameplay. Kind of, if you walk around, you actually find some of those people up there. That's cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's very cool. I've done that too.
That was the worst part for me because he got there and old Kodlak was there waiting for him. So I can't get in, and Gunvar was like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this guy and I'll get it all sorted." And then Thun chopped his head off, and I was like, "Excuse me, Kodlak, I haven't got time for that. Get out of the way."
Very nice.
Yeah, I also like the fact that you can pick a couple different. You can pick by which right, depending on which faction you joined and stuff. That was kind of interesting. I've actually passed that with a few different ones because I just looked it up, and I've gotten right of plunder and cleverness and stuff like that. And I always thought that was kind of interesting. That even if you're the listener, you can want to get in by the right of blood.
Yeah, I always felt kind of uncomfortable anything but right of birth or right of glory. Those two are the only ones that really seem fitting for Sovngarde.
Yeah, well, maybe cleverness too, which is the Master of College of Winterhold. But it's like I was like, oh, really? Right of blood? I'm an assassin, but I can come in. Awesome.
Yeah, that was one of my options. And what was the companions one?
That's the right of glory.
Right of glory. That's the one I chose. It just felt a little more upstanding, I guess.
Gunvar went for the right of birth because of Dragonborn.
Yeah.
That fits the storyline.
That's right.
I'm the Dragonborn. Stand aside.
Stand aside.
You remember which one you went with, Brian?
On what?
On those little different options. Depending on which faction you've completed, you get the different... let me in because I am the leader of the companions, or the leader of the College of Magic, or it just says different little things to let you in. You say stand aside because
I didn't finish my companion thingy.
No, that's fine. It's just there's different options based on which faction you've completed.
I really didn't get any options. I got either hey, let me through, or let's fucking fight. I mean, that was it. Because I was still on the fence while I joined. Because I'm supposed to join the companions, but I haven't joined them yet. So once I got there, it was either fight or let me through, and fought, and he whooped the shit out of me.
So I'm assuming you got in because you're the Dragonborn option. Then.
Basically, yeah. I mean, hey, I'm Dragonborn, get out of my way, and no, I'm not.
Yeah, because you haven't been to the college yet, right? Because you said you didn't have enough magic to get past her initial test to get across the bridge there.
Yeah. Again, hindsight being 2020, I probably should have gone through all that shit, but no, I didn't. So
no big deal. They'll let you in anyhow.
Yeah, they eventually
let anybody in.
So anybody else have any good adventures in the mist? Find any gorillas in there?
No, I was this is only the second time I've actually gone through that. I mean, I've gone, I think, 3 times I've gone into the main quest, but this is only the second time I've actually completed it. The first time was on my 360, and I did meet a whole mess of interesting people up there that I'd already killed, like Ulfric and various others.
Nice.
But this time I hadn't really killed anybody notable, so I sort of wandered through the mist and found the Stormcloak Soldier, and that was about it. So I was a little disappointed.
How are you finding this completion of the playthrough? You said this is only like the second time you've done the dragon quest.
Yeah, well, actually,
how are you finding this?
I'm totally with Colin in terms of the feeling of getting to Sovngarde. It really is. I mean, it's just a game, but still, it's kind of a thrill, you know, because I was always into the Norse mythology, you know, I was a kid and all that stuff. Sovngarde is Asgard, you know, it's just, it's very cool. I really enjoyed just sort of, and the same kind of thing, I set it to walk, just a kind of a thrill. It was a lot of fun.
Absorbing the mist and taking the feelings.
And walking across the Dragonbone bridge there and entering the hall and just wandering around for a while, you know, and meeting the heroes and watching them fight and stuff. It's really cool. It's really well done. I think they really did a good job.
You have to take your time to absorb the grandeur of it all.
And knowing that really, I won't go jump ahead, but, you know, knowing what's coming. And so you sort of take your time wandering around talking to people that you can.
So let me ask, with the exception of the fight itself, is there anything worth actually exploring the area, or is it just get across that bridge and start the fight?
There's nothing in the area.
Oh, not really, no.
My first playthrough, I wandered all over, trying to climb up the mountains, and I was like, so disappointed. I was hoping to at least find a chest or maybe a special weapon or something. And no.
It's just it's a pretty place. It's nicely designed, so it's pretty to wander around. The lighting's good.
There's nothing down there if you jump off the Whalebone Bridge either.
No.
I tried that too. I was going to say I spent about a half an hour just, you know, sneaking and going slowly around and exploring everything, trying to expand the outer limits of the area. I tried to get up on the mountainside and crawl as far as I could up and around the sides and everything. Just because the first time I kind of motored through and I was pretty sure there wasn't much around, but this time I was just going very slowly and trying to look for any little things that I may have missed. And other than I think there might be some different colored mountain flowers to collect. Other than that, I didn't really think that there was anything you could really touch or affect in the whole Sovngarde area. Other than the mist, you could affect the mist, of course. Yeah, I also tried to go down the canyon as far as I could, right next to the whale skeleton, but that did not end well.
All right, I wasn't sure because the first time I played through the main quest years ago, 2 years ago, 2+ years ago, I just burned through it as fast as I could because I was afraid if I messed something up, I wouldn't make it across the bridge, and I have to start all over at the beginning. I didn't know shit about the game, so I was just trying to get through. And the second time, I forgot what the hell I did the first time, so I burned through it again. So I didn't bother looking through anything. I just wanted to get across that bridge. So I didn't know if it was worth, because I'm a hoarder. I like to hoard as much shit as I can so I can make money. And I didn't know if there was anything worth exploring for it. If there's not, then good. I'm glad I didn't.
Well, you run into a Stormcloak soldier and an Imperial soldier and some mountain flowers. That's basically all I found.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I collected some, I don't know what color they were, maybe blue or yellow mountain flowers, whatever they are. And so, we use the Clear Sky shout a lot just to get back through and cross the old bridge there and come into the hall, and they're having a good old time in the hall. All the Nord ghosts just hopping around, having a good old time. And we come to meet our heroes of old, which were, I'm going to butcher these, but Gormloith, Goldenhilt, Hakon One Eye, and Feldir the Old are the 3 heroes. And those happen to be the same 3 that you saw banish Alduin the first time when you read the Dragon Scroll atop the throat of the world. So you get to see them in person for the first time. Well, I guess second time. Yes.
It is their fault that you have to kick his ass.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, because they basically just sent him into the future. They say they defeated him, but when I was reading, I was like, no, you guys didn't. You just passed your problem on to someone else.
That is the best way.
Yeah.
Man,
Get rid of your problems, make someone else deal with it.
Right, pass the buck.
They agree to come with you to help you try to battle against Alduin. And so you step back outside, and that launches our next quest of Dragon Slayer. Would anyone like to take a break for a minute?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
That would be good.
Well,
Your third.
you are listening to a Skyrim Addict Roundtable Episode 7, the Season 1 finale, and we will be right back after a word from our sponsors. And we're back. Brian, go ahead and ask your question.
Again, being that we're all Skyrim players, has anybody here ever tried Dragon's Milk?
I've heard of it.
So,
Okay.
is that Mad Hatter's? Is that a Mad Hatter brew?
I believe it is.
It's
Yeah.
on the East Coast, yeah.
No, it's Mad Hatter is Michigan.
Yeah, well, beyond California.
That's right. Back east, yeah.
Anything west of the Rockies is the East Coast of those Cali boys.
Because I've had Mad Hatter. I've had Dragon's Milk at the brewery. I think that's where it was. Yeah.
Did you like it
New
or not?
Holland,
did.
Michigan.
I did like it, but it's bloody strong.
Yeah, it's real strong. I mean, I drink over-the-counter type of beer. I'm a Coors Light. If I want to take it easy, I go Coors Light or Miller Lite. If I want to, jump it up a little bit, I go up to either Corona or Victoria or Corona Familiar or stuff like that. And if I want to go hard, then I try other shit. Well, a buddy of mine said, "Oh, you like Skyrim? Try this Dragon's Milk." I took a sip of that shit. It was like the heaviest, darkest, nastiest beer, and then as it went down, it was like hard liquor followed it down in one swig.
Well, it's
It was fucking disgusting. It was disgusting.
It's an imperial stout. It's a very, very high gravity imperial stout. Yeah,
It was a shit stout. It sucked. for $9 a bottle, that shit should taste great, and it didn't. It was terrible.
Come in one of those big stoneware-looking bottles with the awesome capping thing with the.
It looked cool, but when you drank it, you wanted to just go ahead and shout for Huey right after. I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Shout for
Imperial
Huey.
stouts. Imperial stouts are definitely an acquired taste.
Absolutely,
because there is just so much roast malt, and and the thing that I found that makes it a lot easier for people to really actually appreciate a good craft beer is if you sit there and tell them, okay, first smell it and then see what you're smelling. And a lot of times you'll pick up some coffee and chocolate and all these really nice aromas, and then when you drink it, you look for that, and it helps you to brings you into it real nicely, as opposed to just, oh, here, try this. And the worst part is a lot of people sit there and say, oh, here's this Imperial IPA, try this. And it's just super hoppy and super bitter, and people are like, what the hell are you giving me? And then they never want to drink again. They're like,
I'll knock you on your ass, Jack.
Well, mine was beyond that. It was like, here, this is Skyrim beer. Drink it. And I was like, oh, Skyrim's the greatest game of all time. And I drank it, and it tastes like shit. It was terrible.
You should probably stay away from the Amma Gang Game of Thrones beer.
Oh, I didn't know they had one. Wow.
Yeah, they did.
I just saw a Facebook post about that. What is that beer?
I think it's called Blood and Fire or something by Amagang, which I gotta say, Amagang is a really nice brewery. They make some nice beers.
I've been to their brewery, yeah, in Cooperstown. It's a very cool place. Yeah.
Let's see, what's it called? Oh, Fire and Blood. That's the name of it.
That's cool.
Sounds aptly named.
Yeah.
For Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they have
beer or is that mead?
It's a beer.
Okay.
Cooperstown.
Yeah, they have an open fermenting area in there, which is brewmaster. I think there's only like 2 people allowed in there, and you have to wear a full positive pressure suit because, of course, there's so much CO2 in the air. It would kill you,
suffocate you. Yeah.
Yeah, because he has the cool ships. It's basically an open fermentation chamber, and they just let everything in there. And I mean, if anybody that just kind of goes around and stuff, you get extra yeast that really shouldn't be there.
Yeah, a lot of wild yeasts.
Yeah, it's a very traditional brewery. I actually listened to an interview with the guy, and he was just, I got this cool ship, and I actually wanted to use it, not just because it looks cool and have it there. I actually want to use it, so he does, and he makes some really nice beers.
I'm surprised that's legal.
Yeah, and the thing is that there's really no yeast out there that can survive in beer if it comes off of it, because normally the beer yeast will overpower any other yeast that goes in there, so you don't really have to worry about stuff like that.
Speaking of Nord Dragon beer, when we're in the hall, in Sovngarde in the hall, you're drinking down some nice brew, good mead, and maybe some flavored with some dragon's blood, perhaps.
Yeah, there was no goat over there though.
No goat. Yeah, but Colin was saying he found an ox leg or something. Did anybody else find anything interesting inside the hall?
I don't recall. Really.
I didn't even look at the tables. I didn't even look at any of the items.
There's a roasted ox head and roasted ox leg, I believe, is what's there.
Yeah, this playthrough,
cool.
I really didn't pay attention. The first time I went through, I went through with a fine-tooth comb. I was looking at everything and talking to everybody, and I'm just like, oh, I got to talk to you? No, not yet. Let me go talk to some more people. So, it was really nice, the first playthrough for sure. And it just, I think you get a little jaded once you've done it once. You go, oh, I've never done this. And I probably should have paid more attention to that.
What's going on with the hall? Is there mainly just that huge big main room and then a side room with the casks of beer off to the side? Was there anything else to the hall that I missed?
Well, there's the banquet hall, and then off to one side there's the sort of the arena, sort of the fighting area, right?
Mm-hmm. I was just making sure there wasn't like a trap door in the corner that I missed where there's all this gold or something you could go get. I know the game loves to slip stuff like that in. Like, if you're out just wandering the plains and you come across just a little tent, if you don't stick your head in that tent, sometimes there's a trap door that'll lead to this huge, expansive dungeon that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. So I try to always poke my head into all the corners and stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing that you also find in Oblivion, because I remember even like on some of the castles, you sit there and walk on the little ledges, and I found like these just little pile of coins just sitting on the ledge, and you sit there, pick up all the coins. I know there's another one where there's like these spears that are pointing in a certain direction with a little note, and you read the note, and then you follow the arrow, and you find this treasure chest.
Oh, so, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
hinting where to go.
Yeah.
So when you had your fill of the party, and you've fallen in the favor of the heroes of old, you get Gormlioth and Hakon and Feldir to follow you outside for the last part of the quest. And I'm sorry to say, gentlemen, this is the last quest that we'll discuss in Season 1. I'm kind of a little sad here.
Yeah.
So our last quest here is Dragon Slayer, and we will be dispatching with Alduin, finally. Is this the third time that we've seen Alduin in the game? The first scene, right?
Fourth or fifth. Because
fourth or fifth?
You see him at, is it Kynes Grove or whatever?
That's right. Yeah. You see him at Helgen to start the game.
Yeah.
You see him at Kynes Grove when he's resurrecting Solaknir, I believe, is the first dragon.
Yeah. Actually, if you're since my mode of travel was with the horse, a lot of times if you come upon some of the,
that's right. Yeah.
He'll be sitting there reviving them. And then because I've tried just sitting there shooting arrows at him, and it doesn't even affect him. He just ignores you, and then he revives his buddy, and his buddy attacks you.
Wow, I've never seen him resurrecting anyone besides that first dragon at Kindsgrove. I didn't realize that you see him a bunch.
On the tundra, there's one near the turnoff for the road to Rorikstead. I think there was a dragon grave there.
So do you just happen upon him there, or is there a way that you can trigger him to resurrect the dragons at these different burial spots?
No, you're just kind of moseying down the road, and you hear him sitting there shouting and stuff, and then I always follow the shouts, and there he is, and you see this big, just same thing as Shore Stone, where you see the big tube of light going up, and he's swooping around and reviving his buddy.
So it sounds to me like Juan and Victor have been hitting the skooma. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, maybe too much 17% alcohol beer.
I've moved on to Campari now. So,
has anybody traveled back to the Blue Palace after you sit there and distribute all the lands to Stormcloaks and everything?
I don't believe I've been back to Solitude since.
If you go down below, all the extradited Jarls are down there, and I mean they all curse you out.
It's funny. They took everyone captive, huh?
No, they're basically, I guess the Blue Palace is where, because they're not captive. That's just where they're living. They're like, oh, you took my home. I don't speak to traitors and yada yada yada. And it's like, whatever, shut up.
So that's if you give them to the Stormcloaks, then the Imperials are ousted, and they tuck their tail and go back to Solitude because there's no place else to go. Is that what you mean?
No, actually, even right after the meeting, because sometimes some of the places you give to the Stormcloaks and some you give to the Imperials. So any of the Imperial lovers, I guess, that are replaced, they end up down there. Like Balgroff from Whiterun, he's down there. And if you want to do I can't remember the name of that sword. He's down there, and his steward is there also.
So does that happen also with the Stormcloak side? Did the rest of them go to Windhelm? Or Winterhold, I mean?
No,
which one? Windhelm? Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, if you take the Imperial side, they go to one.
Okay, yeah, all right.
That's cool. That makes sense. I never checked that out. I'll have to go and try to interact with some of those guys. See what's
I love
up.
Skull. He's the character is kind of, but the voice actor who did Skull is great. I just love his lines. Don't bother me unless it's important.
Yeah, that guy's always a little temperamental.
Yeah, he's great. He's really funny.
One other thing was kind of interesting is when I finished the Dark Brotherhood, on the ship, if you walk out to the very edge of the mast on that ship, there is this unique weapon called Wind Shear. It's a scimitar that when you sit there and you start hacking away at people, it sometimes will sit there and knock them over.
With like a blast of wind or something, or?
I don't know what it does. I don't know how it does it, but while you're sitting there hitting them, it'll actually knock people down, and it's almost like doing a Fus Roda on somebody.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Wind Shear.
Wind Shear.
Where was that again? I'm going to jot that down.
It's on it's basically when you're going to kill the Emperor and you have to sneak onto his ship. You have to basically go to
for the Dark Brotherhood mission.
Yes.
The Emperor, okay.
And it's the
up in the Bay of Solitude, whatever that's called.
Right. And that's the only time that you can actually get this weapon, because that ship is only there for that mission.
Well, shit, I think I've already done the Dark Brotherhood. If I have Shadowmere, I've probably completed it. You don't necessarily have to complete it to get Shadowmere, though, right? You get Shadowmere about 3/4 of the way through, if I remember right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I haven't done it yet.
I think you get to keep her after you kill Cicero.
All this time, I thought Shadowmere was a boy horse.
Yeah, I read up on Shadowmere, and that's a female.
Yeah, according to the game, it's female.
Windshear.
Windshear.
Nice.
I gave it to my follower, and she sits there and just hacks away at people and knocks them over.
Cool. Well, Colin, would you like to give us a little description of the Dragon Slayer quest?
Dragon Slayer quest is you leave Shore's Hall with Gormlaith, Hakon, and the old guy. You know he didn't choose that name, right?
Yeah, he probably did not bequeath that to himself.
That was not his God-given name, huh?
They all draw weapons and they all go for a run across the Whalebone Lane. Don't accidentally Fusradar as you're going along there and nearly knock one of them off because they don't like you after that.
Oh yeah, what happened? Did they actually get angry with you? What happened?
No, it just knocked him down. Luckily, I think it's quest luck. So I thought I was going to knock him completely off there.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it possible to knock him off? That'd be great.
So I get across to the other side, and they realize that they need to get rid of the mist to be able to get to Alduin, and they decide to call upon the most powerful shout in the game, Clear Skies, and combine them all together with your shout there and their shout all together to be able to clear the entirety of I think it's Sovngarde of the mist. You try once, Alduin has enough power to be able to recall the mist again. You do it a second time, and he summons enough power to do it again. And then a third time, you manage to clear all the mist away, so he actually finally has to come down and face you, because he hasn't got enough strength, I think, to be able to call the mist down again, to be able to suck up the souls. And then you face him in battle.
How did your battle go?
Really easy, because there's like 4 of you. Some guy posted something somewhere, and I don't know where he said that he wished that they had the option of where you could say to the Nord heroes, "No, you're alright, I'll go out and do it on my own."
Yeah, I can see that.
It'd just be a nice, you could do it both ways. But yeah, there's 4 of you. The only thing is that you have to do the Dragon Round shout. I mean, if there's 4 of you who can do the Dragon Round shout, why aren't they using the Dragon Round shout? So you can use Clear Skies. Or
That's true. I didn't think of that.
Well, were they? I guess. Yeah, you're right. I guess they all could have. I thought maybe it was only Feldir who was able to use it, but he was the one that had the Elder Scroll.
But there was when I was fighting Alduin, was it the Stormcloak Shoulder got in on the action and was shooting arrows at Alduin.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
So he's going to be remembered in song for all time. He's going to be the Dragonborn, Gormlaith, and some random housecarl. Like Shore, he's going to be standing next to Shore in some portrait that you know.
Hey, and me too.
Look at me, Ma.
That's great. Hey, Brian, did you have any fun with Alduin? I remember you said you sunk about 300 arrows into him the first time. How did this round go?
Like Colin was saying, you had to combine your voices to dispel his mist. So it took about 3 tries. Finally get rid of his mist. And after that, I was like, man, I probably should have smithed up my armor and my bow better, because I'm probably going to get my ass kicked. The battle was tough, no doubt. Especially when Alduin would smash his tail on the ground. The whole screen would shake, no matter how far away I was from him. The whole screen would shake. I mean, the amount of beer I drank at that time probably didn't fucking help. But I just couldn't aim my bow because, again, I'm an archer, so I'm trying to aim, and the screen is shaking, so that was pretty rough. But I finally defeated him after a few more shouts, Dragon Ren bringing him down. I finally took his ass out. And then I had to speak to Soon again to travel back to Tamriel. Before he sent me back, he gifted me a new shout. It was called the Call of Valor, where a Valiant of Sovngarde will lend me a hand in battle when called upon. So I returned to Tamriel. I was placed on the throat of the world, surrounded by about 10 dragons. They all started roaring and flying around, and I thought another battle was coming up. I totally forgot what the hell happens, but they all just flew off. And then Odvahin submitted his loyalty to me and said, "Call upon him when needed."
That's great. Victor, did you have a good battle?
Yeah, it was good. I was brought all kinds of stuff with me because I couldn't really remember how tough it was or not. So I smithed up tons of bolts for my crossbow and all kinds of other things, and had all kinds of great
nice
arrows.
crossbows.
Yeah, well, I've been using a lot of crossbow in this play, and there's some modded stuff. I get strong and strongest bolts and things. I think those are parts of mods. But anyway, so they all went out there and we're shouting at him, and he's breathing fire. And so I have the ebony mail, which is a 70% fire resistance. So I thought, I'm good. I'll just start whacking at him with my two-handed because I'm still trying to build that up to 100. So I ran out there and he turned around and froze me to death. So I had to start over. And then I just hung back and shot arrows at him while the heroes took him on the battlefield. But it didn't take very long. It is, I think it's universally accepted that it's a relatively, compared to things that go before it, it's a relatively easy battle.
Yeah, it's slightly underwhelming, I would think.
Yeah.
What kind of crossbow do you have? Do you have any interesting crossbows from your mods?
Well, again, I don't know whether it's from a mod. I assume it is. There are 2 or 3 different crossbows available. They're all either steel or dwarven. But the one I use the most is a I forget what it's called. It's a lightweight dwarven recurve or something like that. But mainly the reason I use it is it's a little less in terms of damage points, but it reloads faster. And that's one of the big problems with crossbows in the game is they just take so damn long to reload.
Yeah, I think they're in the vanilla game when you got to do a quest for the lady in the Dawn Guard to be able to get them.
Yeah, I got these before that though, because I've just really only begun Dawn Guard, and it's my faction. But I finally had 2 troll followers so far. They die quickly though.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they do.
But so I had them before, so it may or may not be part of a mod. I don't know. But yeah, you do the dwarven research for her, for Serene, I think it is, and exploding bolts and various other things like that. So.
Yeah, that was one of the side quests I got into when I was doing all my stuff. Was kept going back to Fort Dawnguard, and she kept sending me out for. I think there's some information that I found out over here. Why don't you go pick that up for me? So you go and you pick up a little note that has some information on it. You bring it back, and she said, "Oh, great! Now I know how to do this, and now you do too magically, as long as your smithing is high enough."
Or you can buy them from me.
Yeah, exactly. I will have some for sale momentarily if you just wait around a little bit. But I got up to, I think there's like an improved Dwemer crossbow. I don't know if it goes higher than that, but I think that was the last one. If I kept offering help, I'd stop getting missions to go fetch stuff, so I think that might be as high as it can go.
Yeah, I actually never really went with the crossbow just because normally I go up the light armor side. I would have to spend a point to go to the dwarven side to actually make the crossbows and everything like that.
Well, you can just buy one.
Yeah. I have like over 150,000 septums, so.
You can buy whatever you want. Shit.
Oh, shoot.
How about you, Juan? Did you have a good final battle with Alduin?
Just like everyone said, it was pretty anticlimactic, and my bow is pretty strong, and took a few shots and went down.
Yeah, mine was pretty similar. I shouted him out of the sky with the dragon rend and smacked him in the face a couple times with my ebony warhammer, and he took off once, and I just need to shout him down one more time, and then he was toast. The final battle, yeah, a little anticlimactic, but again, I have it saved. I have a save file still for Sovngarde, so I might go back and make it harder, bump up the difficulty a little bit, and give it another try, just to maybe give it a little bit more closure, a little more of an epic battle there at the end.
Yeah, you could try punching him.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
It's a good call. Take off all my armor and bop him in the nose a few times. Bad dragon.
Call him Al.
Al.
Yeah, that'll really
get over here. But the tail whacking that Brian mentioned, did anyone else have any tail whacking events?
I think that's only when you're at the throw of the world when he does that. I didn't experience that in
If you the other dragons do it as well.
I was going to ask, is this just Alduin, or do all dragons have this ability?
No, all dragons. If somebody's at the back of them where they can get them with their tail, like if your house call goes around there, because I'll never go anywhere there because they whack you once. That's like when they bat you with their wing. I mean that's bad, but if they hit you with that tail, I think it's like a one shot.
Yeah. Got to watch out for their pooper too. It stinks back there.
That must have been a glitch I ran into then, because if I was like in front of him, like even 50 yards away, he would hit his tail on the ground and the whole screen would shake. Again, it might have been a beer I was fucking drinking, but the whole screen got all shaky.
You can also bring Sun into the fight as well if you can get close enough to him while the fight with Alduin's going on. Like I did in a previous playthrough, and you run scared, terrifying, and you hide behind Sun. You can bring him into the fight as well. But I had
you can hide behind him. He's a tall drink of water.
I had a better fight when I got back, when he sends you back to the throat of the world. And as Brian was saying, you get back to the throat of the world, and Paarthurnax there tells you that he's now the new leader of the dragons. He's going to try and show them the way of the voice, take control of the dragons. Odahviin comes down and says his loyalty, but he says good luck to the old man, but I can't let the old man take control of a giant dragon army. That's too much of a risk. So then I attacked Paarthurnax, and that was an even better fight, a lot better fight. He's a lot tougher than Alduin was. And,
how did that go?
The same.
I said, how did that go? Tell us a little bit about your Paarthurnax fight. I didn't realize that you then turned and attacked Paarthurnax.
Yeah, when I got back, he tells you that now Alduin's gone and all the other dragons are mourning him, he's going to try and show them the true way, the way of the voice, and sort of like meditate on the word of power and things like that. But I think it was Juan who said in the same this day, you remember the tale about the scorpion and the frog. So, you got to be wary of him. And plus, with him, there's only him and you who can eventually take control of the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
The only two people that can lead them. So.
And he does admit it himself too.
Yeah, you can't trust the dove.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised to hear Paarthurnax say that he was not happy about Alduin being slain, and he made some sort of statement about how he cannot take pleasure in a fellow dove being.
He was my brother once.
Yeah, he was once my brother.
Right.
I found that interesting. Hey, Victor, do you have anything cool happen at this part of the game?
Not really, no. I just sort of went through it. I mean, I always got the feeling that Odahviin's a little bit of a, I don't know what's the word. Colin sort of alluded to that in his narrative at the end of the last episode. Odahviin's kind of a, what's the word? He's an opportunist. Have any real loyalties. He'll just go with
It's a little bit of a snake in the grass
He's
or
a
something.
follower, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, so I just fine, go away, and I left. Went on to pursue other things. Slythe is now farming at Heliarchan Hall via a mod, Heliarchan Farm. So I've got a big farm to run now and make some profit on.
That's great. What are you planting?
I don't know yet. I haven't actually completed the mod, so it includes all kinds of cool things: a farm and a guardhouse and a mead brewery and various other things. So he's gonna take a couple of weeks off and develop the farm, get it running before he moves on to the next stage of things.
Will it actually let you brew actual? Beer and meat and whatever.
I'm not sure. I don't know if you have to actually raise bees and things like that. I think it just once you've improved the building, it just starts to produce the mead.
I thought you'd maybe have to go collect some juniper or build some beehives.
So. I don't think so. There is actually another mod called is it T or an L? I think it's Calixta's Cider House, in which you actually do have to harvest the apples and. It's very cool. It's a very nifty little mod. The cider mill is actually Dwemer based, so it's got all kinds of pistons and Dwemer looking things and
steam powered stuff.
Yeah, sound effects and stuff like that. And so
that's awesome.
You make the cider and then open the valves to put it in the fermenters, and so it's pretty cool. It's a well done little mod.
That's great.
Yeah, that is
Well,
interesting. That you find apples, but you never find apple trees.
Well, this actually this mod includes the apple trees, so
Yeah.
it has a bunch of them growing outside. The cider house is actually right next to Whiterun. It's next to one of the two farms there along the side of Whiterun. And,
Okay.
And there's a whole orchard of apple trees that you can harvest and add to. And if you go to Balgroof, and he'll allow you to have a little bit more land so you can grow more apple trees. It's a well done mod. That also, and you sell your cider to all the holds actually.
Are you allowed to poison it so that guy who's tasting it in the one quest will
No, well, that was meat.
squirts and
That's
have to
meat
turn
anyway.
away?
That was the honey brew
Okay.
meadery. Yeah.
Well, when I was up on Throat of the World after I left Sovngarde, I'm not sure what I did. I was just talking to Paarthurnax, going through his whole spiel at the end about how he's a little sad to see Alduin go and he can never celebrate the falling of a brother, Dove. But then out of nowhere, I'm not sure what I did, but Odahviing started attacking me. Did anyone have anything interesting like that happen? As just out of nowhere, he just started blowing fire on me. And so I turned and started attacking him. But since you have the Call Dragon shout, Odahviing is a protected character and cannot be killed. So I just sat there and was whacking him with my Warhammer. Then he would take off and fly around. Then I'd Dragon Rend him back down to the ground and then whack him some more. But each time I hit him, his health regenerates so fast that it's impossible to kill him. So he was just attacking me out of nowhere for no good reason. So I just had to end up turning tail and running down the side of the mountain. And eventually I got far enough away from him where he stopped attacking. And then just to check, I used the Call Dragon shout. And then when I was in my next battle or whatever, when I was fighting, I was like, well, I wonder if Odahviing will attack me again. So I called him, and then he came and started attacking my enemy. So whatever it was, it corrected itself. But I just thought it was weird that out of nowhere, Odahviing was trying to blow my ass up there, up on top of the Throat of the World. But then it's really fun to have him in tow. I was doing the thing where you call of Valor. I like having one of those guys around, one of the ancient Nord heroes. I like having those guys around because they'll come and they'll shout at all the Draugr or whatever you're fighting. And then when I'm outside, I like to do the Call Dragon because Odahviing will just come down and blast all the Forsworn. I was fighting a bunch of Forsworn. He'll just come and blast them with fire, and it's really fun to have those extra fighters on your side. I really like the Call of Valor shout and the Call Dragon shouts. Those are great additions there that you get near the end of the quest.
Yeah, I wish my brain was a little younger and I could remember to do all those things. I always forget. I have shouts. I was looking at all my stats, and how many shouts? I've unlocked 10 shouts. That's it. Like I've shouted like 70 or something like that.
Wow.
And those are all
you shy away from those shouts.
Well, no, I just forget to use them. It's like clear skies when I have to, and and occasional Fusro Da, and that's about it.
Well, I thought Clear Sky would only apply to the fog going up the side of the mountain there, or in Sovngarde. But someone was talking last episode about how, if it's too snowy or if it's raining, I just use Clear Skies. And then, I tried that out when I was up north, up near Dawnstar, and it worked like a charm. I was like, holy shit, this actually does work.
No, Colin's 100% right. It's one of the best shouts in the game. Yeah.
No, it's cool. It's really underrated. Colin's a big fan, and I think it deserves all the hype that he's giving it. Totally.
Yeah, I enjoy clearing, especially when it's like a blizzard coming at you and you can't even see in front of you. You just sit there and use that, clears up, and see everything in front of you.
Yeah, just continue on your way like it ain't no thing. Another shout that I've gotten into recently that I never really used before, I'm not sure what it's called. Is it called Ice Form or something like that, where you freeze your opponent solid? Yeah, I'd never used that before, except for the last couple weeks. I've been blasting people solid, and then they just literally turn into a statue and fall down, and you can just walk up to them and do whatever you want to them and whack them in the head with your Warhammer, or just take a pee on them and walk the other way. It's pretty fun shout to have.
Yeah, that one is pretty nice. I've used that in the past. I just, like I said before, Victor was saying, I just forget to use a lot of these shouts. A lot of them have some real interesting stuff where you sit there and it's just like, oh crap, why didn't I use that?
Yeah. Well, the one of the shouts that I would like to use, but I never seem to find the all the words of it or any words is disarm. I mean, it gets used on you a lot by the Death Lords.
Super annoying.
But
I just got the last word of that yesterday.
did you? Where are the words?
Damn it. I don't know.
He would have known if you hadn't asked.
Where it was the Droger, where you go through. No, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, have you used it at all? Do you find it as effective to use as it is on you when it gets used on you?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the more words you use to use on higher level. I mean, sometimes I think a Droger Deathlord, I think he's going to be too tough to be able to rip it out of his hand.
Yeah.
Not unless you have all three words. I'm just trying to think where the last word was, where the last place where I was.
I pulled up the UESP here. Looks like the three words are found at Elder's Blood Peak,
Ooh.
Silver Drift Lair,
I've been
That's
there.
the one, Silver Drift Lair, yeah.
and Snowvale Sanctum.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Snowvale.
Yeah, I'm doing the Thieves at the moment. That's where I go. Yeah. So,
Which one of those was in the Thieves? Silver Drift was in the Thieves quest?
No, Snowvale Sanctum.
Oh, Snowvale Sanctum.
Just went
What happens there? What were you doing there?
I was having a fun old time with Mercer Frey.
Oh, nice.
Bouncing along, having a nice old good old chat with each other and laughing hysterically.
Skipping hand in hand up the Snowvale.
He's a lovely bloke. Gonvar really liked him.
Until he turns on you.
Well, he didn't really turn on me. He was just, he was doing his thing. The only problem is Gonvar's better at it. So.
Yep. He beat him at his own game.
Well, he will. He hasn't beat him yet, but he will. I also celebrated after we finished at the Throat of the World. I took this slow walk back to Whiterun. Got everybody. We all celebrated. Went to the Bannered Mare. Had a good old drinkies and
picked up some horrors.
Yeah. So even that some stranger called Sam. I bought him a few drinks and he bought me a few drinks.
Oh, nice. Is Sam the guy that'll spark A Night to Remember quest? Is that him?
That's the one, yeah.
Nice.
In Markarth for the very first time. And
The Hangover.
Yeah.
Yep.
I woke up with a hangover, a giant's toe, and a brand new husband.
That'll happen after a heavy night of drinking. Woo!
I had to take some some poetic license in there with how it's supposed to work, because you have to do a few things, but I finagled it so it works. And Omlug is now happily married and living at Breezehome. But he's got quite a lot of stuff to buy. So
yeah, very nice. Did you adopt children? You said you did, right?
Yeah, I adopted Lucia, and she goes on about how she catches more fish than he does. She'll teach him how to do it properly. Then I went to Windhelm and found out that Sophie's father was a Stormcloak soldier who died, and nobody in the past of town is helping her out, so I decided to adopt her as well.
Is she the flower peddler?
Flower girl, yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem is she's bugged and she won't come back to the house.
Oh no!
Really? That's funny. She's never bought, because those are the two that I always adopt, Lucia and Sophie, and I've never had any of them.
I was in the middle of, because my very first playthrough when I adopted her, she had like about 200 baskets on her. So when I was trying to give her like a doll or anything like that, I was always says that she was over encumbered, so she couldn't.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
I bought all her baskets. This time she had 36 baskets on her.
Oh, no.
So I bought them all, then said I'd adopt her, and then she keeps on saying, "Oh, I'll meet you there. I'm just going to pack up." And I think she's looking for her baskets.
Maybe should have
Daddy, where are my baskets? Have you gone back to look for her?
Yeah, I've been back 4 or 5 times. I actually broke the walking thing and fast travel there, fast travel back, fast travel. Keep on trying to get it to break it out. I shout at her in her face with clear sky. Because the greatest thing about Clear Skies is that you can shout at a whole bunch of people, but it's not considered a harmful shout, so you won't get in trouble.
Ah.
Do they trip a little bit. What's that called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They stagger, yeah.
They stagger. Yeah.
So anybody annoys me, you walk up to a guard and he gives you lip, you just clear skies him right in the face, and it staggers him, and then you just carry on walking, he doesn't arrest you.
That'd actually be a good thing to use because I always forget, but whenever I go to a new town, I always try to remember to do a shout so that the courier will come up and be like, give you that note from a mysterious friend who says, anytime you shout in a city or any sort of town, you will soon get a message from the courier that says, you really shook people up when you made your shout in whatever town you were in. And it says, oh, I have a note from a mysterious friend. And you read the note and it says, I have information about a secret that will bring a word of power or some, I forget exactly what the message says, but it basically just will lead you to all the word walls, if I'm not mistaken.
So, I like to use either Throw Voice or Aura Whisper, because those are also non-lethal.
What is a Throw Voice? Can you get into that a little bit?
Throw Voice is kind of interesting. When I first got the game, it actually worked out really nice, and it says like, hey, something knows, and just
Skeever breath or something.
Skeever breath. And it basically, wherever you point, you see like a little kind of, it like hits the wall, and that's where the voice comes from, and any enemies will go in that direction.
A misdirect.
Yeah, I used to use it just because I love listening to all the different names that it would call people.
Yeah.
It's really handy for those sneaky archers you love so much, Andrew.
Oh yeah.
You can use Mage Light to do the same thing, I believe. Distract people. Yeah, if you
throw it on the wall.
You can also hit an enemy with it. If you hit an enemy with Mage Light, the light stays above their head.
Oh really?
Oh, nice. I have an idea.
I do that. I do that with my follower. If you hit the follower, the Mage Light stays above their head as they're walking behind. So it's like they're carrying a torch.
Hey, it gives them 2 free hands.
That's it.
That's great. Most of the shouts are kind of different versions of different spells. Is there a Mage Light type shout, like a light shout of any sort?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I think I cut you off, Brian. Were you about to say something?
Oh, I was just going to ask, when you guys are not playing on the round table or for a particular mission, if you're just playing on your own, male, female, when you marry somebody, who do you normally marry? And if you adopt a child, who do you normally adopt?
Well, my first playthrough, I married Yosalda because she was a merchant, and then I was under the impression that you needed to marry a merchant in order to set up a store at your house, so I read up on that, and I married Yosalda, but turns out that anyone will set up a store. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was wrongly under the impression that you had to marry a merchant to set up a shop, but evidently anyone can do that. My first playthrough was Yosalda, and this time I also happened to marry a merchant. It was Scouts Mini Marshes. I haven't adopted any kids this time because I have a hard time making up my mind. This was actually, thank you for asking this, Brian. This leads into another question that I was going to ask. What are the good orphans around Skyrim? There's the girl by the tree, Lucia, right? And then Sophie up in Windhelm, or Winterhold with the flower baskets. Who else do we got around? Is there a kid in Markarth, for example, or one up in Solitude or anything like that?
You could also go to Riften.
The orphanage.
Yeah, and you can talk to each one of them, and they'll tell you their story and pick one of them. I've always picked up Sophie as well. And,
she has a pretty terrible story, so you always feel bad for her. Yeah.
Yeah, just big old softy assassin.
You got Blaze. He's just outside Solitude. He works for the farm just outside Solitude, but he has to sleep outside with the horses.
Oh
yeah,
poor buddy.
I adopted him once, also. Yes.
Okay, so there's one in Solitude. Is there one in Markarth?
I don't know one in Markarth. I think if you killed like some of the parents, you'll get one or two.
Yeah, that happens. I've married, I married Uthgerd and Berlina and Koznak and Camilla. But for adopting kids, I actually, like I said, I usually adopt Sophie and or Lucia, but one of my Khajiit playthroughs, he was running away from a bear in Winterhold and ran into the inn there, and unfortunately the bear followed him in and killed everybody inside except the little girl, and I can't remember her name. So he was kind of a not so good Khajiit, so he wasn't really planning on actually marrying or adopting, but he felt so bad about what he'd done that he decided to change his mind. And so of course then he had to spend time building a house and getting stuff. And by the time I got back there to adopt her, she had disappeared, and I found her at the orphanage in Riften, and eventually, and actually adopted her. So the game does follow through on stuff like that.
That's cool. So her parents get killed, then she relocates herself over
eventually,
to
because I had gone back to visit her a couple of times, and she was there, but I wasn't ready yet with various things. And I think I built Lakeview Manor for her, and I tried twice to adopt her, and she wouldn't come, so I had to go back to
build a bed.
I found out you don't have to have the bedrooms in order to adopt.
Really?
No, but anyway, so eventually I found her at the orphanage.
I ran into a trouble once when I was trying to get Scouts Many Marshes to come live with me at the Lakeview Manor, and he just would not show up, and then I had to look it up online. I found out that I had to build a bed or else he wouldn't show up to the house. So,
well, I have, like, for instance, at Heljarken right now, I built the greenhouse and trophy room and kitchen additions. I left the front of the house as its original rather than converting it to an entryway. But I've adopted Lucia and Sophie, and
they showed up and everything.
Yeah, totally, no issues there.
Huh.
We were talking about that on the Facebook group. I forget, it was Sherry, I think, who had to restart Hearthfires.
She had to reload it.
Yeah, but I've never had a problem.
Was that because she just wanted to change out one of the wings, or what was,
because
what
she
was her
thought she
problem?
needed to build the bedrooms in order to adopt.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why she did it.
Yeah, but don't you have the two beds like behind the master bedroom?
Yeah, you do. That's right, exactly. Which should be enough, I would have thought.
Because usually there for your house call and your steward, but if you invite the kids, then obviously the kids get the bedroom and the stewards just like sleep.
You get those bed rolls, sleep on the floor.
They sleep in a chair sitting up.
A pile of hay.
Yeah. You're paying them well; they can sleep in a chair.
Yeah, exactly.
The reason I was asking that question in the beginning is for a sentimental value, because my wife, her name is Iselda. It's Isela. Well, I always marry Isolda, so it's kind of the fucking same thing. When I'm playing a game, it's like I'm marrying the same woman. And then when I adopt a kid, I always go with Lucia because my daughter's name is Gloria. So it's as close as any of the other kids in the game. So I don't feel like a jagoff when I marry Isolda and adopt a kid named Lucia.
So has she been looking in on your current playthrough, Ryan?
Fuck no.
Walking in just as you're walking in to see Mercutio on his bench. Welcome home, honey.
Quiet. Shit's public.
There's plenty of room on this bench, everyone. Come over and have a sleep.
Yeah, I think the first time I played through, I married the girl from the Companions. But it was just so creepy listening to her say, oh, here you go, my love. And I was just like, oh, that's so creepy, because she's like this tough companion, and she's sitting there just being all lovey-dovey. It just kind of creeped me out. So my second playthrough, I married is it Isolda in Whiterun, the one that wants to be the
merchant.
The merchant.
Yes.
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah.
Hey,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Two-time and hoe.
And I had the manor that's overlooking Lakeview Manor, and one day I went back home, and all I found was a note that she'd been kidnapped.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a fun quest. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to just get another warrior that won't get kidnapped. I don't know if it happens or not.
See,
I don't have time to look for them.
I had that happen to me, but that happened to me through Dawnguard, that she got kidnapped. Or was it? It was
Really?
I thought it was part of the Hearthfires DLC.
Yeah, it is.
What house were you in?
Lakeview Manor, and I was married to Lydia, and I was doing some, I don't know, I was doing like Radiant quests for, Florentius, because I just kept on going back to him because I wanted to talk to him again and again. And I came back, and he was like, "Oh, hey, we have, some bad news." And I was like, "What's going on? Your wife, she's been kidnapped by vampires." And I was like,
"Oh, by
vampires? What are you talking about?"
By vampires? Wow.
Yeah, vampires, yeah.
She's standing right behind me. That was the only problem. So I clicked out of the conversation. I turned around, she's gone. She got kidnapped by vampires in Fort Dawnguard while I was talking to him.
They are really sneaky, those vampires. They are very good at kidnapping.
But she was in, where is it? Embershard Mine. So like, all the bandits in there are like level 2 or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty low level
9. Has anybody had bandits or whatever, speaking of kidnapping your spouses, show up in your house, like when you go home to do unload? I just had that happen for the first time the other day. I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing here?
Yeah. That could be a bit of a surprise, too, if you're not really prepared for it. Boom, done.
I know. I was dumping all my stuff. I didn't have any weapons on me, and I had to shout. I did the free shout and luckily hit all 3 of them at once. But and I grabbed something that I just dumped into my my weapons chest. But I lucked out. But then I went back. I was out adventuring for a long time, and I came back to the house, and their bodies are still just laying around the house.
Yeah, they don't go away.
Like, I wish, Scouts Many Marshes needs to get off his ass and, cook me a meal and drag those bodies out and bury them while I'm out collecting gold for us. Think of all the diseases and stuff that can happen with having dead bodies just laying around.
Yeah. I know I've had skeevers down in the cellar.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, you got this big, tough steward," and he's like, "Oh, there's skeevers down there. Could you take care of that?"
I hear a scratching noise. Can you go check that out for me?
Did you know that if those skeevers keep regenerating, but when you kill them, if you leave the unaggressive one if you leave them alone and don't kill them, the skeevers will never regenerate.
Oh, no.
There's an aggressive one?
When you first build a cellar and you go down there and there's skeevers and there's like 3 or 4 of them. Most of them attack you, but one of them who's kind of scarred and gnarly looking, just wandering around. If you leave them alone, the skeevers will never come back.
Huh. Oh, cool. I was thinking you could go borrow some of that extra skeever poison from the Hunting Brew meadery quest.
I've tried leaving raw chicken legs out for them, but they never eat them. So.
They'll die of some weird bacteria.
Yeah.
Raw rabbit haunch.
Oh, that's funny.
Is it possible to remarry? Can you, if your spouse gets killed somehow, can you get remarried, or is it just one and done?
I think if she dies, you can. I think you can. I'm not 100% certain on that, though.
I hope so, because my wife's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I swear someone else did it. I swear.
I've done it with mods because I was supposed to marry Koznak, but then Berlina just felt right with Slythe because they're both dark elves and so on. But they decided that they were going to be polyamorous, so he's married to both Berlina and Koznak.
Oh, very nice. Ooh la la.
So you got sister wives.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that was sparked a little good conversation there. Thanks for asking that, Brian. Do you have any other questions? Anybody have anything else they'd like to get into before we wrap up season 1?
What are our plans for season 2, I guess?
That's the next step here. Let's go ahead and discuss that then. If anyone has any objections, we'll go ahead and cap off season 1 here.
Well, I was just going to, after I did all the missions, I had to try and get caught up on all my perks and all my stats and everything else. So I did a lot of work on that. I still didn't get to 100 in everything like I wanted to, but, I needed to get a follower. My follower was Anmund. So
he's in the college and you didn't get up there.
Yeah, so I needed to make entrance into the College Winterhold, but I needed to go ahead and enchant some stuff. So I figured, all right, I'll go back in High Hrothgar, get all my shit, go ahead and sell it, and start disenchanting stuff and re-enchant stuff to go ahead and get into the college.
Yeah, you need to boost your magic level, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So I got back into High Hrothgar, and I go into the chest where I've been storing stuff since the beginning of this playthrough, and everything pops up red, like I'm stealing it. I'm like,
uh-oh.
Where am I stealing from? This is my house. And then it turns out, I go talk to Angir, he tells me, hey, because what you did to Parthenax, you're no longer welcome here.
Uh-oh.
Saw my shit. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Now you got to take into consideration, since the day one, I've been doing nothing but walking. No fast travel, only going by carriage. That's it, because that's my travel way is carriage. While certain towns you can't travel by carriage, you have to go by foot. So I had to go back and forth. It's just been a pain in the ass. But again, it's something different than what I've ever played before, so I'm okay with it. After I whacked Parthenax, he told me, he says, you can't be here no more. So get your shit and get out of here. So I went and left High Hrothgar. So I had to go down to Riften, and I started the taking care of business with the Thieves Guild. So I had to collect debts from Bercy, Helga, and Kariva. Now, Kariva, she works in a B&Barb. So after I collected her debt, and I go to walk out the door, and Colin, who did I see sitting on the bench?
Sorry? You lost me. Mercurio?
Your boyfriend, Mercurio?
My husband, Mercurio. And what does he say to me? He says, oh, hello, my love. Back from some adventure, I bet. Yeah, it's called selling off all my stuff I've been stealing over the last 6 months so I can buy you a fucking house so you don't have to sit on a bench no more and you can live up in solitude.
He loves his bench.
So I tell him, look, I bought a crib. Get your ass over to Solitude and go sit there. So he said, okay, that's fine. Okay, whatever. So he leaves. So then I went back to the Rat Way. I'm now a member of the Thieves Guild because of the 3 quick things I did for them. And I talked to the Fence, Tanelia. I sold all my stuff to her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which was huge because I needed the money. So that's right before I was going to go ahead and buy that house. I needed $25K. I walked in there with $22K. I walked out with $35,000. That's how much shit I had on me coming out of, but again, I had to travel back and forth from the top of the mountain back down to the city.
It sucks.
So the first mission required to purchase the Proud Spire Manor was called The Man Who Cried Wolf. I had to travel to Wolf School to clear it out. The cave was filled with a bunch of necromancers, Draugr. I wiped their asses out pretty quick. I got back to Solitude. She told me, okay, you can go ahead and have the house. You can go ahead and buy it now. So I went and bought it. So I also did some pickpocketing.
Did you get Mercurio over to Solitude? Did you get him to move into the Proud Spire Manor?
Yeah, he did, and he just sits there.
Yeah. He found a new bench to sit on and waste someone else's time.
Yeah. I was moving from one screen to another, and everything just locked up on me. I apologize.
Oh, no.
Have you used Mercurio as a follower, or at all?
No, I end up, when I got Onmund, I used him. And I believe it was Colin told me he was a real powerful chain lightning.
Who, yeah. Mercurio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry, Onmund.
Oh, because Mercurio's pretty powerful.
Yeah, Mercurio's the one with chain lightning, right?
What does Onmund do then? Because it looked like he was frying people too.
I think he uses sparks. I don't think he gets up to chain lightning. I don't think he's that tough.
I think Mercurio is the more powerful of the two, if I remember right.
Yeah,
but I've never used either as followers. This is just what other people I've heard say.
I just remembered the one. Belrand is the other mercenary I was using.
Because I remember when I wanted to work on enchanting, I wanted to go down to the Blackreach and go ahead and try and get a bunch of soul gems.
Soul gems, nice.
So I took Onmund with me, and he covered me real well. I mean, he fried all the Falmer that were down there. He did a really good job.
Actually, I've never actually had him, so I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think I had him. I've always taken if I've taken one of them, it's always been not Kajo, J'zargo.
J'zargo, yeah. I actually like J'zargo. He has that fireball.
He's a Khajiit, right?
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of the 2 Khajiit followers.
Okay.
He's that sassy guy at the college who's always challenging you, saying that, J'zargo's... You have to go do his fire scroll test, I think, is one of the things for the mages college.
That is a fair point that Brian's making, though, by the way, that, how much of our assigned things should we have completed by now as at the end of season 1? I mean, I have not completed the Dawn Guard, but I've tried to sort of get other things like the Frost Troll. That was one of my assigned followers. So I finally got Frost Trolls, or troll of any kind, armored troll, I guess. It says everybody else got all their dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's.
Yeah,
I actually only got to 100 in speech. That was the only thing I got to 100 in.
I'm only 81 in speech, so I still got to go speech. I did have a second follower, Miko, but I'm not actually taking him around with me anymore. I've left him back in the house with.
Well, the kids need someone to watch over them.
Yeah. As far as all the other stuff, yeah, so leader of the companions, 100 and the other things and things like that. But as I said, I just left Omlug, right. I just got him like a couple of days ago because it suited. Once I went back into Bannered Mare, got drunk.
And you ended up in Markarth, yeah.
Ended up in Markarth. It was like, it was serendipitous. So I had to finagle it. But work it a little bit, so like a little bit of license there. But yeah, that's how it worked out that I got married to Omlug. So I think I'm all set apart from this speech, which, as we all know, is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I finished the Bard's College. I need to get my two-handed is at 95. I need to get that up to 100. Shouldn't be too tough in the next couple of weeks. I should be able to do that. My restoration's at 55. I don't know if I'll ever get that to 100.
Yeah, who's a two-handed trainer? Is there one at the Companions?
Yeah, one of the two brothers.
Farkas.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way I'm going to get mine up to 100.
Vilkas. Yeah.
Is the guy at Castle Dawnguard also a two-handed trainer?
Heavy armor.
Oh, heavy armor. Okay.
Because I can't get, I'm almost there with my two-handed, but enchanting is just, because I don't grind, I don't know. I just rather try to move things
do it organically. Yeah.
Sort of, I guess so. I don't know. I don't have anything against grinding. I just don't. So my enchanting is low, and I'm just not gonna. I'm probably never gonna make 100 with it.
Well, I think we've all done a good job. Again, these were just things to have a concentration on your storyline, just to make some sort of guidelines to follow. It wasn't necessarily that the whole point was to get to 100. It was just that these should be the ones you were supposed to concentrate on.
No, it's fun to have goals.
Yeah. It just makes you play the game a little bit differently, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I've never done blocking, and blocking was actually pretty fun. I had to enchant some items so that I could have enough stamina to actually do the blocking, because if you don't have enough stamina, it's just painful.
Just getting hit takes away your stamina, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I do like the bull rush that you do when you're blocking, because you just he kind of charges up, and then you just see people flying.
Now, I was going to say, as far as not completing factions, I was supposed to join the Companions, but here's where the dilemma comes in. Faction is Companions. My other follower is Garmir, which is a Death Hound. So I would have to join the Companions, complete that entire quest line, and then get rid of being a werewolf in order to join the vampires to get that dog, right? Or vice versa. I'd have to go one or the other. I think the Companions' storyline is shorter than joining the vampires. So that's kind of where I'm in a dilemma. So I think the very next thing I'm going to do, probably as soon as we sign off here today, I'm going to hop in and start joining the Companions and at least get that knocked out so I can go ahead and get that Death Hound as my follower, because you can't join the vampires if you have werewolf blood.
Yeah, I'm not sure which is shorter. They both seem like they're pretty beefy storylines there.
I think the Companions is pretty short. It's only about 4 or 5 missions and you're done. And
unless you do a lot of the Radiant quests.
It is
right.
A little bit.
Yeah, I guess I was doing a lot of the Radiant quests, and I remember spending a lot of time with that.
Yeah, because the Dawnguard is really long, especially when you have to go down into the underworld and.
Oh, the soul
yeah, and he has to walk everywhere too, which is super shitty.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I need to get that far. I don't know if I have to actually enter the Soul Cairn before I can get that follower. I might be able to get that follower before the Soul Cairn.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the Death Hounds become available too. That'd be something to look into. Yeah.
Maybe when you become a master vampire or whatever, a vampire lord, maybe then you're. And
do you have to complete Dawnguard in order to become the vampire lord, or is that an option that's presented to you earlier on in the quest?
That's from the beginning. It's from the beginning.
Yeah, right at the beginning. Right.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, maybe it'll be the first thing off.
I've done nothing with Solstheim yet, so
no, I haven't even set foot on it.
That's why I haven't got my spider.
Really looking
spider.
Well, speaking of Solstheim, what are we doing for season 2, gentlemen? How are we going to do this?
Well, I forget, Colin. Were you talking about rolling a new character for Solstheim or not? I can't remember.
No, for
No.
the Civil War.
Oh, for the Civil War, that was it. Okay, yeah. Because we have a date in Soul's Time. Slythe has a date with Gunmar, right? Okay. We'll have to figure out a way of making that happen.
Yeah. When I first was writing it, it was Aethys and Koznak who were having the conversation.
Yeah.
And it was because you got me, you got the Nord, and you got the Dark Elf, and then with you got the Dark Elf and the Nord. So you just had Slythe and Gunvar sitting, staring at each other, and then you had Koznak and, what's his name, Aethys doing all the talking. But I had to slightly change it because it couldn't work.
Well, it would be actually doable if with familiar faces, with the mod familiar faces.
Yeah, I've seen that you could pull somebody's thing. The only problem is I'm on the Xbox.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was wondering if you were going to start in on the PC.
Now, I'll be when we start up the Civil War. I'll be going back to the PC because that's why I wanted to stick with Gunvar because the Civil War is going to be his big thing.
Right, that's right.
The problem is I can't get the proper resolution for it on the Xbox. I mean, on PC I could have modded it so I could have killed Ulfric. You can even mod it to become High King,
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow. There you go.
One thing to watch out for if you're going to use that Civil War overhaul mod is to start it from the very beginning of your playthrough. Yeah. It's very finicky mod. I've messed with it a little bit and it bugs out so easily. But it's really extensive. It's very complex.
So, Victor, would you suggest for doing the Civil Quest mod, the War, which will be season 3? Is that right, Andrew?
Yeah, Civil War will be season 3.
So we should start that with like a clean slate for the most part.
I don't know.
I think there was discussion of that. I thought Colin maybe mentioned that he wanted to do that through with Gunvar as well, but we might make that optional. At the beginning of these seasons, I would like to take the opportunity to send the invitation out to as many people as possible so that if other people would like to join in or do playthroughs, please go ahead. If you would like random attributes assigned and character traits, please just send us an email at skyrimroundtable@gmail.com. I'd be happy to include you if you just want to do a playthrough, just play along and then send in emails about your adventures. Or if you'd like to go ahead and be on the podcast, we're always accepting new people to come on the podcast and help us out. So if you'd like a new, fresh role, if you'd like to join us on Soul's Time, please, by all means, give us a contact and we'll set you up and you can join us in our brigade over to Soul's Time.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to add that, I mean, it's not as scary as it sounds. It's just shooting the shit with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's pretty nice.
Is anybody else working on their destruction for Soul's Time? Because I'm finding it hard trying to build up my destruction to get ready for Soul's Time.
Why would you need it in particular for Soul's Time?
For Karstag?
Yeah. The
Frost Giant?
mythical giant beast guy.
The only thing he's vulnerable to is fire.
Is it really? Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
He's immune to frost and he's immune to shock for some unknown reason. And if
he's just too much of a badass for two-hand.
I've heard it said he's tougher than the Ebony Warrior. Have you found that at all?
I beat him first, then went up against the Ebony Warrior, summoned Karstag.
Oh! That's the way to do it.
Yeah. I had the Ebony Warrior kill me once. That guy's tough.
I wish you could summon that guy.
Was it, I had the Ebony Warrior. I Fusro-darred him. He was lying on the floor. I pulled out Volendrong and smashed him as hard as I could, and I died. Because he has that perk where you have 10% damage was reflected back to you.
Oh yeah.
And
you shouldn't have hit him so hard.
Yeah, hit him too hard with Volendrong. It went right back to me. He killed me dead.
Oh man, that's a bitch.
Oh, he countered your crit.
That's right.
All right, so as it stands, it looks like we'll be continuing with our same Season 1 characters on to Season 2 up in Soul's Time.
I think when we do the Civil War, I'll definitely need a reroll since I've already completed the Civil War quest.
All right, I'll probably join you with a fresh roll, and people are welcome to have a fresh roll if they like, or continue with their same characters. I know we can sort of get attached to these characters that we've developed relationships with, so I do not mind either way. But I just like to use these seasons as a good jumping in point for any listeners that we have. If they would like to jump in and join us, by all means, just get a hold of us, and we'll be happy to have you along.
Yeah, they'll need to speak to Brian about how to catch up.
Yeah, he was a
in
beast.
About a week.
Yeah, he did 3/4 of the frickin' Dragon storyline and by himself.
1 week.
Yeah, in 1 week. Well, speaking, you see his exuberance for that. Speaking of season 2, we're just going to keep to our 3-week recording schedule. And so 3 weeks from tonight will be Saturday, September 27th at 5 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We will be recording our first Season 2 episode, and that will be for Dragonborn DLC. The 4 quests that we will be assigned are 1, Dragonborn, 2, March of the Dead, 3, An Axe to Grind, and 4, The Final Descent. In the Final Descent, you will get the Black Book mission, Winds of Change. So you'll also have to add the Winds of Change mission, but that is within the Final Descent. And we're doing this slightly different in that for Season 1, we did only the Dragon quests. And so there were 17 of them, and we just went bam, 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 down the line. All of them had nothing to do with anything else, just the Dragon Quest storylines. For Solstheim, since Dragonborn, the quest line itself is so much shorter than the Dragon storyline, I went ahead and found all the side quests on Solstheim and all the other side stories and everything. And I tried, to the best of my knowledge, fit all the quests together that made sense in order. So you will basically be doing one step each in each episode, one step of the Dragonborn storyline getting to Mirok. So I tried to time it out so that we'll be facing Mirok on January 10th. So we will be getting 6 episodes out of this like we did with the Dragon storyline. It's just that we're not going to be doing them in sequence as much. I mixed in a bunch of the side quests, so we'll be doing a lot of those mixed in. So the storyline won't move on quite as quickly, and hopefully I figured it out in a manner that will make sense in order to do everything together. I'm not quite sure how this will work, but we'll hopefully it'll flow well enough that it makes sort of sense in the whole storyline. So if you'd like to check the stories all together, the quests, they are in our Facebook group. For a Skyrim Addict Podcast Roundtable. That specific group is the pinned post up at the top. So if you'd like to join in, please just request to be my friend on Facebook, and I will sign you up for the Skyrim Addict Podcast Roundtable. It's a different group than the normal Skyrim Addict Podcast group. So you'll need to see that in order if you want to get the schedule. But yeah, hopefully we got it all planned out here. And again, the first episode will be here on September 27th, and I hope to have all of you return to join us on Solstheim. Again, if anyone else would like to jump in, please do so. Does anyone have any closing thoughts for our podcast this evening before I launch into our closing material?
I just want to say how much I've enjoyed it so far. It's been great. It's a lot of fun. It's wonderful talking to all you guys. So
I've had a great time talking to you guys about once or twice a month. It's been really cool to keep up with everyone and chat about our adventures. But not only that, but just to get to know everyone a little bit better on the side. It's been really fun having this little podcast with everyone. So I'd like to thank everyone's dedication to showing up all the time and getting the quests played, and not only that, but forming a friendship here online. It's been really nice to get to know everyone.
Yeah, definitely. It's been one of the highlights of my month every month. Coming in. Was it? I think a big thanks to Andrew for all his hard work of putting this together.
Absolutely.
Every 2 or 3 weeks. It's I know you've got a lot on your plate with the missus and the kid and work. And ear wash and everything like that, and you still find the time to put all this together. It's amazing, bro, and thank you so very much for for
Ditto.
setting it all up for us.
It's my pleasure putting this together. This is one of the highlights of my week as well, is getting to sit here and talk with you guys about, my nerdy interests that a lot of people outside of this world would have zero interest in whatsoever.
Yeah, we found some kindred spirits here.
Yeah, you try to mention Draugr Deathlords to my wife, and she just glazes over and turns around and walks out the room.
That means she's a good wife, Andrew.
I would definitely like to say thank you to Colin and Victor for, as Andrew said, having 100% perfect attendance. You guys have really carried the show. But Andrew, you've been awesome. You've been busting your ass getting the show in stride. Also with the Earwash show. A baby on the way, which congrats. I've never had a chance to say this publicly, but congrats on that. Your first child is awesome. So I want to thank everybody, every last one of you, and even our new guy Juan, for showing up. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, Juan, you did a wonderful job. I'm glad that you finally popped in, and I hope that you will be a regular guest on season 2. I welcome it and encourage it wholeheartedly.
Oh, as much as I enjoyed this, it's definitely going to be on my to-do list, as long as family stuff doesn't get in the way.
Sounds good. We'd love to have you aboard over on Solstheim. Including anyone else out there, please give us an email and we'll hook you up. Anyone else? Final closing thoughts. If you'll just say your name and your character's name, and we'll start our sign-off process. Brian?
My name is Brian. I live just outside of Chicago, and my character's name is Egret, and she is a badass little archer.
Juan?
My name is Juan. I live in Southern California, Escondido to be more exact, and I have an Argonian scorpion fork tongue.
And Victor?
Victor from Massachusetts. My character is Slythe Aaron, and we'll see you in Solstheim.
And Colin?
Hi, my name's Colin from England. My character's name is Gunvar Oakenmaster, Supreme Ruler of all Tamriel?
Cool question mark.
Maybe someday.
And I am adventuring with Mania Ababna, a Red Guard specializing in two-handed. I would like to encourage everyone to please follow a Skyrim Addict on Twitter at a Skyrim Addict and join the Facebook group. There's plenty of great Skyrim talk always happening over there. And if you would please, to promote interaction, upload a picture of your current character with the hashtag Skyrim Roundtable. You can do that on Facebook or on the Twitter. If you'd like to send play-along feedback for the Roundtable, please do so to skyrimroundtable@gmail.com. And we're encouraging all the new people to please join us all over on Solstheim. It'll be good to have a lot of fresh faces to meet over there in Raven Rock. And I'd like to send out a special thanks to Dan Bull for allowing us to use his Skyrim Dovahkiin rap for our theme music. I really like being able to include clips of that at the beginning and after the show. I'd like to encourage everyone after the podcast to please stay tuned for audio feedback, because I hear Colin might be putting together yet another short narrative of his character and their adventures. Please sign up for Dragonborn Season 2 over on Solstheim. We encourage all the new people to hop on. Again, that email is skyrimroundtable@gmail.com, and we'll hook you up with a character race and the 3 attributes that you need to concentrate on and all that. And again, I'd like to send out a special thanks to everyone for listening. And I've just had a wonderful time doing Season 1, the Dragon story, with everyone. And we're having just a wonderful time here in Skyrim. So I'd like to encourage any more people who have any interest to please go ahead and join us for the adventures over on Solstheim. And happy Skyrimming.
Happy Skyrimming.
If you're going to say it with gusto.
I'm a celebrity, honestly. You're a wannabe. I'm a prodigy. The suggestion you're better than me at being a warrior? Ha! Comedy. It's a gift to me. I don't just spit flames lyrically, but literally. And the Elder Scrolls are scripts in which I've written your obituary. I am the Dragonborn, wearing a hat with badass horns. I'm Dovahkiin, no globally, you'll know the D.O.
That was excellent, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Another beastly episode.
Speaking of beastly, Colin, I gotta say, your narratives are awesome. You have a really, really great way with words and thoughts and observations. And I have to tell you, I think they would stand alone really well. They're fine added on to the roundtable, but I think they'd make a superb podcast on their own. So just consider it.
But this would be great, actually, if you want to do this narrative story as your own show. I think it'd be a hit with everyone.
I think it would be better doing it that way because as doing a podcast as myself, I'm a horrendous human being, so I don't really want me to have a voice. So I probably would be better off to play a character because
do a narrative.
Yeah. There's somebody else who you can, with Gunvar. It's always nice because he is an asshole, and then he spends 10 minutes with Lucia, and you're like, oh well, he
maybe he's not that bad. Yeah. Well, maybe that's something we can discuss with Blake. Is giving you there's already 3 shows going in the Skyrim Addict feed. Why not make it a 4th and just have Colin's narrative story hour or whatever?
Hi guys, this is Colin back again with my notes. For a nice read through. It's going to be shorter than the last one, a lot shorter, because the last one was 2-4, because I had missed one of the weeks. I also like to say that although I always sound like I'm sick, this time I actually am sick, so it's going to be 10 times worse than it usually is. So sorry about that, but until I can afford to hire Jeremy Irons to read these, you're just going to have to suffer. So I'm going to backtrack again and set off so we know where we left off. I find out for sure where Alduin has gone, and I also find out that the only way to get there is to trust a dragon. But Odahviing is no Paarthurnax. He's a follower whoever is strongest. And that just happens to be me. I tell him to serve me instead, and he will, as long as Alduin is taken out. The wry smile returns, as I wonder if Odahviing likes the taste of Jarls. I give myself a mental punch in the gut for letting my mind wander. This is no time to be making future plans. I need to be right here and now. He's not lying. I know that for sure. The question is, do I want to go now or wait? Get better. Get better prepared. Acquire more powerful skills and weapons. All the while Alduin regains his strength. No. I go now. Take the fight to him. If I delay now, it'll be perceived as weakness or cowardice. Alright, Odahviing, I'm in. Betray me, though. The last sight you'll see is a raging Dunmer bearing a war axe in your face, all the while screaming unintelligible obscenities at you. Nobody wants that. I give the guard the okay to release him and tell Aethys to wait in Whiterun, just in case. Take one last look from the balcony and take a breath. I go against my better judgment and actually get on top. Better judgment can kiss my ass. Ha! I gotta get me one of these. We get to Skuldafn, and it's exactly as Odahviing said. All of Alduin's forces are here waiting on me. Odahviing takes his leave, parting with the less than encouraging words of, I'll await your return, or Alduin's. Nice. But it's probably the best I should expect from a fair-weather friend such as him, or any dragon. Skuldafn is big, but I've seen bigger. I should make short work of this, even solo. I decide to make a show of it. No sneaking. I just charge in and make my presence felt. It's not too long till half the runes are charging after me. And that's when I let loose the mayhem spell and the whole of Skuldafn turns into a war zone. Everyone's affected by the dragons. They're too busy fending off all the Draugr to see me coming in for the kill with Dragonbane and the Razor. As soon as all the dragons are done, I'll bring up the snowman and drop all the Draugr. The spot where I'm heading, but there's no way up to it. Looks like I'm going to have to go through the ruins. Which, thinking about it, starts sounding like the better plan. Nobody has seen these ruins in thousands of years. Who knows what treasures the ancient Nords have hidden here. Inside I don't sneak, but I do tread carefully. There's a reason why these are the guys protecting Alduin. Judging from the ebony weapons the ones outside were carrying, these were warriors of significance and shouldn't be taken lightly. However, I am me, so there's not that much to worry about. A few solved puzzles and a lot of dead on dead later, I exit to the top of the ruins and head for the portal. I see the priest guarding it, but that's of no concern. The most important issue right now is that the show worked. 2 dragons perched either side of the ruins have no intention of attacking me. Looks like Odahviing isn't the only one waiting to see how this plays out. Life must be hard under the heel of the big bastard. Wait till they get a load of me. The priest comes at me, but he's all magic, and with the enchanted pieces I've been able to attain from various places, it pretty much renders his staff completely useless. But it turns out that none of it mattered anyway, as the razor did its thing. I search through the pile of ashes it left and take its mask, under the watchful gaze of the waiting seers above. If they only knew that its only purpose from now on is to be used to scare a little girl once a year after the harvest festival. I approach the portal to Sovngarde and take a moment. At the precipice, I try to think of something memorable to say, something befitting the occasion. But all that comes to mind is, never eat yellow snow, and I jump. Arriving in Sovngarde is like waking from a nightmare. I'm not too sure where I am, not sure why I'm here, if I'm actually alive or dead. This must be how Esmond feels every morning. As I venture down the steps, my faculties return, and I steel myself for what's ahead. There'll be plenty of time to admire the scenery after, I hope. I see Alduin off in the distance. The mist he surrounds himself feels wrong. As I enter it, my thoughts are confirmed by a lost Stormcloak. It appears to affect the dead more than the living. Or it could be that I'm just me. I use the clear sky shout to remove the mist, try to find my way to Shor's Hall. There are a few other souls lost in the mist, but none that I concern myself with, until I see him. The armor is a dead giveaway, but it's the disapproving look that lets me know it's him. Kodlak. What took you so long, is all I got. You have any idea what I went through to get your old ass in here in the first place, only to be stopped by a damn lizard, old man? The enough of your lip, lad, nearly makes me laugh. But then, the now go and sort this mess out so I can get some mead fills me with confidence. Not that I'm lacking in that department. His expression changes as the mist starts to take its toll, and he can no longer fight its effects. I turn and head off, not wanting to witness the old man in that condition. I finally get to the Whalebone Bridge, and I see Sun. Mind you, he's hard to miss. When I approach him, it dawns on me as to why he or the other warriors didn't end Alduin when he first arrived. He says it's because Shor stayed his hand, maybe to let the end come. I scoff at this and comment that maybe he was waiting for a real warrior, but I don't think he got what I meant. He offers further proof that he's not the afterlife's biggest thinker when he asks by what right do I request entry. I refrain from telling him it's because his mother invited me over, and tell him that by right of birth, of course, dragonborn. And I lace it with all the disdain I could summon. He grants me passage, but only after a trial of might. Gladly. I give him the respect he deserves as a warrior, just, and I hold nothing back. He's a big lad, so I don't give him the chance to hit me with that axe. He's quicker than I thought, but not quick enough, and I'm in and out before he even knows what's happened. A couple more like that, and he concedes, stands aside. Across the bridge and enter the Hall of Valor, and it's as the old stories promised, and more. I'm barely inside when I'm greeted by Ysgramor himself, who confirms what I had already thought. They needed me to end this. But I won't be alone. The heroes of old, Gormlaith, Hakon, and Feldir, will be by my side. They're no Aethys and Mika, but at least with using Dragonrend, they'll give me the chance to concentrate all my efforts on killing the big bastard, and not worrying if he's going to take to the air at the last moment. For a minute I consider exploring around the hall, see if my brother made it here, but think better of it. What if he didn't? Or worse, what if he did, and he witnessed the things I've done in reaction to his fate? I know he'd want me to stop, but I can't hear that. Not now. Once I finish the dragon, the real fight begins. And I can't have that on my mind. Not when I face the bear. I join the other three, and I can't help but smile. They haven't changed. Not in all this time. And Gormlaith's eagerness for battle is infectious. Weapons drawn, they run to battle. They run to glory, and I follow, in the hopes that my deeds now will be remembered, not the ones I'll commit in the days to come. We reach the mist, and use clear skies to clear it and to call Alduin out. It takes a few tries, but it works, and he comes to meet his end at the tip of my blade. Even after regaining his strength, he cannot withstand Dragonrend, and once down, he never gets back up. The other heroes tear at his sides, but I face him head on. I want to make sure he knows that this is it, that he will be no more, and that I am the cause of it. He spits fire at me, and I spit it right back in turn. In between slashes, I down every potion I ever found, and he wanes. And I see the fear, and finally the realization in his eyes. It's a beautiful sight, and I savor every second of it before striking the final blow. Burn, you bastard, and tell them Gunvar Oakenmaster sent you. You'll have plenty of company. It's done. There's nothing left, not even his bones. The other heroes stand to one side. His son approaches and informs me that he can send me back when I wish. I take a moment to say farewell to the heroes of old, and to Kodlak. Then I take one last look at the Hall of Valor. I cannot express the joy I felt at being able to stand within its walls. And now the sadness I feel overwhelms me. Not because I have to leave, but because I know I'll never return. Sovngarde is for heroes, for warriors with honor and a code. Where I'm going, well, I guess I'll see you soon, Alduin. But not too soon. I tell Tsante I'm ready, and before I leave he gives me with a shout, bestowed by Shor himself, a shout to call a warrior of old to aid me in battle. But I can't help but think that if they send me Gormleth, I don't think I'll be too quick in trying to send her back. Sun uses a shout to send me back to Skyrim, to the throat of the world. I know I'm back as my luck holds true to form, and I realize that I'm surrounded by dragons. If I ever do get back to Sovngarde, I must remember to have a word with Sun about his aim. Whiterun would have been nice. They begin to shout, not at me, but to the sky. Still can't make sense of the dragon language, but I hear Alduin's name in there. They're either mourning his loss or celebrating his demise. Either way, I draw my weapons. After a minute of this, Paarthurnax lands and shares his thoughts. I'm not so forthcoming. The words he could pick, in 2 languages I might add, he chooses that one to describe Alduin. If my mind wasn't made up before, it is now. He takes off and declares his intention to get the dragons to follow him. I'm about ready to make my move when Odahviing lands in front of me. Confirms my suspicions. Paarthurnax intends to claim leadership over the other dragons now that I've taken care of Alduin. Odahviing then swears fealty to me, not Paarthurnax. An offer I find hard to believe, but I'll put that loyalty to the test sooner than he thinks. Excuse me. He takes to the air when Paarthurnax lands on his perch again, and I talk to him, just to make sure he knows exactly why. I tell him why the Blades want him gone, and he responds with a speech about how hard he worked for redemption, to overcome his nature. He may be right, but I don't care. I flash my weapons, and I look him in the eye. He was your brother. It doesn't matter who or what he was. If he was Alduin the World Eater, or if he's your bastard older brother, born of some Breton whore who you never met before. You never betray your blood. You never betray your family. The greatest man I ever knew taught me that. Your words are hollow, Dovahkiin, was his response. You speak of loyalty when your actions betray all of Skyrim in pursuit of glory. None more so than your elven brother when you arrived here alone to face Balduin in a battle to decide the fate of so many. You left him behind. I am Gonvar Oakenmaster, Dragonborn. I was blessed by Akatosh and destined to slay Alduin. No songs will be sung of traitorous dragons or mangy dogs, and certainly not any filthy dark elf slaying the World Eater at my side. Your name shall go down in history as I see fit. Be thankful I speak your names at all. It's then that our words turn to shouts, and Dragonrend is the first thing that comes. To my surprise, he manages to fly from his perch, but only for a moment. He may be even stronger than his brother. He's certainly smarter. He completely ignores the snowman and concentrates all his fire on me. Literally. I bash him with the shield, and that allows a little respite from his Thune. I use Dragonrend again, but I can't keep this up. I circle around his perch and heal up, and I grab the razor. I manage to dragon rend one more time before he gets up again. I pull up another snowman and put it right in his face. It only works for a second, but that's all I need. I make it as quick as I can and hold nothing back. And it's done. And it feels wrong. But then again, I already knew that. I look around me, and all of the other dragons are gone. Except for Odoving, who circles the peak. I clamber up to the very top of the mountain and shout Dragon Rend to the heavens again and again, informing them all of who they serve now. Ooh, a pickaxe. Epilogue. When I get back to Right One, it's time for celebrations and song, and mead. But first I speak to the lady of the house, and she truly must have been sent by the divines, as in within the first few moments she allays any fears I had of being a complete heartless bastard by flashing that big smile of hers, in response to receiving Nairn's ugliest doll. Thanks, Bellathor. That night it was off to the Bannered Mare, and everyone was invited. From crusty old Vignar, all the way down to Stinky Brennan. Even Lydia cracked a smile at being invited, until I told her she was on Lucia duty. And I told Miko and Aethys that they were on me duty. Can't have the Dragonborn doing anything unbecoming of his station now, can we? Songs are sung, mead is drank, and fights are fought. Even the stranger gets in the spirits. Drinking competition? Heh. Stranger, you've got yourself a bet. That's it. Cheers, guys.